My name is Scott Schertzen, alongside Mr. Davion Boozy and Mr. Ryan O'Regan, and here we go. The much touted, the much divisive Amazon Prime series, The Rings of Power. I struggle to mention, Tolkien's name in this, so I'm going to try my best to just continue to call it Amazon Prime Rings of Power. You guys are a little more open-minded. I have some thoughts on this. I will stay open-minded as best as I can be. But I am a long-standing fan of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You can see down there that I date back to the Rankin Bass and also the Ralph Bakshi rotoscoping one from 1978. Yes, I'm that old. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. They have not gone live yet. We're still about 8 minutes out. So they're going to go live at 9 p.m. It is now 8:52. So, gentlemen, how you doing in the meantime?
Oh, Scott, you're not old.
Hell no, I'm not. Dude, listen. Okay, here's the funny thing I'm going to just say. I turned 47 in 3 weeks. Do you know what is relevant about September 22nd? My birthday.
What?
It ties 11 days after 9/11.
It's Hobbit Day.
Day. Oh.
I share a birthday with both Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, so it's known as International Hobbit Day. September 22nd is not only their birthday, it is also, in fact, my birthday. So, yes, 3 weeks from today is my birthday. But also, my birthday falls on Hobbit Day. And I've been a fan, like I said, since Rankin Bass and since, the Ralph Bakshi one. So I can sing the songs from the original ones that they had out there, for The Hobbit and Return of the King. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Yes, I know these things. But, so I am an uber geek in this case. But I will do what I can to stay open-minded here. Gentlemen, give me your thoughts first before we kick into this thing.
I'm going to do one episode.
I heard something about that, yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Never was a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm making a sacrifice.
Did you watch the video I sent you?
No, I didn't because I was busy at work.
You have to watch that.
Okay.
Especially after you watch this. By the way, what I'm talking about here is the end of Fellowship. The battle between Aragorn and Lurtz at the end of it. After he hits Boromir with 3 arrows. So you know the scene I'm talking about. Use what you see here with this story versus that, even though you know nothing about Lord of the Rings. And like I said, that is a small scene compared to the entire trilogy. But use it as a comparison. That's why I sent it to you guys.
Gotcha.
Ryan, how about you? How you doing?
Okay, I have questions.
Please.
First, are you saying that the actors who play Frodo and Bilbo have their birthday on September 22nd?
The characters.
So you're saying that there's the modern, evangelical calendar in the time of Middle-earth?
Yes, there is. In this case, also, I forget the exact date. I think it's in March, but I think it's like March 29th. Smeagol, a.k.a. Gollum, was born. But September 22nd.
That was super wait, September. That was close. You said March 29th. I was like, okay.
I think it was the 29th. I have to check that. I don't remember exactly what Smeagol's birthday is, but like I said, as far as the characters of Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, what bonded the two of the characters together, especially in Fellowship, is the fact that they in fact shared a birthday.
Okay. Cause my birthday is on the 22nd.
March 20. No, hang on a sec. Born on March 25th. I'm sorry, I was off. All right, so you're off by 3 days there.
Woo!
So yeah, but Gollum was
now I get some of your features, Day. You got a little Smeagol in you.
Look at Scott like I'm seeing out of it.
I
have to give him the business since he's only sticking around for the one episode.
That's fine. Let it go.
But okay, so birthdays aside, that calendar is actually a thing. That's weird, but all right.
Yes.
As far as this, I mean, I have no problems going into it. I mean, yes, I've seen the original movies. I've seen Hobbit. I've seen the animated Hobbit. I've seen the animated Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to say that I'm super familiar, but certainly there are certain moments that have stuck out over time and have been relatively iconic. But considering this is brand new territory as far as anything that we or the fans have visually seen or experienced, and the fact that it's all new actors, so it's not like we're basing anything off of whether or not this person is like completely comparable to anyone that we've seen in the original movies. I'm going into it with a fresh mentality. Now, it could be very long and boring, or it could be visually striking, a la Avatar. So who knows?
Early response is that it's visually striking, but a little too quick, fast paced. So the scenes change too much, and you don't necessarily get the chance to connect with the characters well. That's the early thing I've been hearing about this. Like I said, I'll stay open minded. They're making changes. I'm willing to work with that. You know, Galadriel is supposed to be 6'4". She's not here. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be that hardcore of an anal nitpick, but I do have my
compared to a Hobbit, she probably looks 6'4", but
yeah, but I'm saying the actual character is 6'4". So Galadriel herself as an elf is 6'4". Yes.
Question. Are y'all looking at Amazon right now?
Not as yet. I'm sitting at the screensaver because it went back out again. They're 3 minutes out.
All right, because episode 2 is up, but not episode 1.
Well, that's all right. You know, there might be.
Are we certain about this?
I'm looking at it right now.
It just might be how these guys are rolling with it.
Oh no, I see both of them.
No, but episode 1 you can watch. I mean, episode 2 you can watch, but episode 1 no.
That's interesting. All right, well, let them.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It says on watch list, but episode 2 is already up. Weird.
Actually, it looks like I have episode 1 up.
66 minutes and 68 minutes respectively.
Yeah, okay. So I figured about 2 hours between the two.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured too, because I mean it's Amazon. They're not going to necessarily go cheap. Series premiere.
Will we be here? Probably we'll have a couple of conversations about this series. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we'll definitely do like a quickie review, even though we're only going to invest like 2 hours into this thing, but we'll definitely do a quick review. Yeah. Not just of both episodes, but our expectations for the episodes coming up. Because more than likely, once these episodes start hitting primarily on Fridays, as opposed to this Thursday evening extravaganza that we're doing, I imagine Scott and possibly a person or two of his choosing will be going ahead and watching the series along on Friday nights or Friday mornings, afternoons, whenever is most convenient.
I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, to be brutally honest. Remember, next week is Cobra Kai season 5. So, as far as this goes, I don't know yet. You know, I don't know what I want to do. I will be brutally straight with this. I think personally, I believe this series will go the way of Ghostbusters reboot, RoboCop reboot, Blade Runner 2049, and things like that, where people were like, oh yeah, that was a thing, and then probably forget about it. I feel like probably this is going to go by the wayside that way in 3 or 4 years from now.
RoboCop. I don't know about that. I don't think Amazon would go ahead and make the investment in something that would be so flippant. You know?
I don't know. Like I said, this is just my gut feeling on this. I could be wrong. I could 100% be wrong. But my instincts are telling me right now that this will be just, oh yeah, that was the thing.
Right. I think the only thing that's really working against it right now, from a feasible standpoint, is the fact that it is going up against the Game of Thrones prequel, which is already now 2 weeks invested.
Yeah.
So people are going to be drawing the comparisons between that kind of fantasy realm and this kind of fantasy realm. This one being more high fantasy, whereas Game of Thrones is probably a little bit more like realistic compared to Rings of Power, which is funny to say, but when you think about it, all they really have is like what? Dire wolves and the White Walkers and dragons. That's
Don't
it.
say something like that. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong.
Outside of those few elements, Game of Thrones or the House of Dragons could easily be right up there with like the Tudors. You know, it would just be like a political piece staged in history. This has got elves and dwarves and hobbits and dragons and all sorts of orcs and goblins and all sorts of. This is like where fantasy started.
By the way, let me point this out. Let me say this before I came down here. My wife asked me to play the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. that was recorded and written and recorded by Leonard Nimoy in 1968. So this is the household I am in right now.
Oh,
she asked me to play The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins, which, like I said, was one of the songs by Leonard Nimoy because he was a huge fan of both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. She asked me to play that before I come downstairs. So, are we all going to be here? I don't, did we confuse you, or is this unrelated to something else? Or so.
I'm still looking to see if episode 1 is going to show up, but
yeah. I keep getting more info and play trailer.
Maybe I go to episode 1 and it just says watch list. It gives me the rundown as to what happens in the first episode. If you want, I'll go ahead and narrate that in my low, dubious voice.
Yes, go for it, sir.
Season 1, Episode 1. Series premiere. Galadriel is disturbed by signs of an ancient evil's return. Arondir makes an unsettling discovery. Elrond is presented with an intriguing new venture. Nori breaks the Harfoot community's most deeply held rule.
Keeping in mind that we have Harfoots in this because they could not legally use the term Hobbit. That's throw that one back out there again, by the way.
I mean, this is so far in the early times of the timeline and franchise that we know of. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just represented that the Harfoots are the predecessor.
My understanding, not really. No, here's what I've been picking up from. Apparently, my understanding is that this is going to be centering around. Supposedly, Isildur is a teenager in this, which would tie it into the battle against Sauron in the first time, where actually he teamed up with Elrond. So maybe this is going to go into that arena, and Isildur cutting off the finger of Sauron and getting the One Ring.
And that's what we saw in the first movie, right?
Yes, in the beginning of that. Supposedly, there is a teenage Isildur in this, which, if that is true, like I said, may theoretically tie into that war, which would place it about 3,000 years prior to Lord of the Rings itself.
Right, so long before Bilbo, long before Frodo, long before Gandalf.
No. Gandalf's been around for 12,000 years.
12,000? He's that old?
Not only is he that old, but the Ents are actually older than he is. Treebeard remembers him when he was young.
Well, yes. I know the Ents are old, yes. That's why they're all slow. Yeah. Every time I see a tree in fantasy, they're always kind of slow.
Yes.
Right. Even Groot.
No, his original name was Mithrandir, or one of the names that he had originally was Mithrandir from the Silmarillion. So, yes, he's been around for about 12,000 years.
Oofa.
Yes.
Oh, so pretty much on, like you said, I could basically have y'all on a watch party or put people on a watch party and let it play. Or Amazon. It's on more.
Because I'm nerdy enough that I can narrate this whole thing? Yes, I can. Dude, my first movie credit was freaking Lord of the Rings, Fellowship Extended Cut. So, Gandalf isn't human, though. That's the problem.
Okay, episode 1 says included with Prime, so it is good to go.
All right.
You
ready?
Yeah, see, I keep coming back to more info. It's not letting me play it, though.
No, reset it or sign out.
Yeah, go back to the main Amazon page and then go back into it. It'll refresh.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like I said, Gandalf has been around for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. So he was not only alive, but pretty old during all of this anyway. All right, so I'm back to the main top screen here. Let's see what happens here. Prime Video. The Rings of Power, Prime Video. You think they're trying to make this known?
A little bit. Yes. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 1, A Shadow of the Past. Oh, misty mountains, oh. That's all I know from the animated movies. Just
not bad, though.
That chanting on the misty mountains, man.
Y'all played it already?
No, not.
Oh, don't scare me like that, man.
All right.
No. I'm talking about from the original animated movies.
So
it's like when they get into those monks chanting and everything with their throat voice and talking about the Misty Mountains.
Oh, the Misty Mountains with our bare feet with hair.
All right.
Oh
so,
God, no.
Yeah.
By the way, please stop that.
That's too elf, man. That's too elf.
Oh, stop talking like an elf.
That's
That
actually well, elves
that
don't
wasn't
talk.
even a Lord of the Rings elf. That was like Snap,
Dude, that
Crackle,
is
and
a
Pop.
terrible elf. Yeah, you seriously have to watch.
That's
You
Elf
seriously
from
have to get acclimated with
Disenchanted.
this series.
Wait. What happened? What happened, Scott?
You seriously need to actually learn your lore here, because basically that was fucking terrible, man. Remember, the actor Orlando Bloom got his start from this. Orlando Bloom did not sound like that. All right. Anyway,
I mean, he looked like he sounded like that, but he did not sound like that.
Yeah, I am. By the way, funny thing about that is I'm 1 second in. I can start whenever you want.
Okay. So are we doing countdown? Day?
He booked that job days before he actually graduated from drama school. So he basically still hadn't gone through graduation. He already landed this movie. So yeah. Anyway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boop. And I see Prime Video. All right. Black screen. Fucking black screen. This is garbage. I hate this thing. This is bullshit.
Black screen.
Here we go with the music.
Okay. No laying backwards because I'm not watching it on my TV.
Nothing is easy.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that again.
All right, so we got some random kids running around. Now, like I said, supposedly it was $250 million for the rights to this. And then on top of that, $485 million to actually film the 8 episodes, which comes out to be about $60 million an episode.
Seriously?
Yeah. So
they're coughing up money like that?
Yes, they are. And the funny thing about it, I read something this morning. It said this may be the only time in history that if a TV show fails, the price of your detergent goes up. Because Amazon will start charging more if this does not basically get money back on it.
See, no wonder people start hating it. Everyone's at peace and is happy. No one likes that.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with it. So this has got to be a young Galadriel in this case, I would assume. Which, if I'm correct, this is taking place way, way, way before this is going to take place.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing the blonde is Galadriel.
Well, I'm assuming so in this case. So, okay, turn you into a swan.
No, it's just
or a dragon
basic ass paper boat. That's it's turning into a paper swan.
And they're throwing rocks at
origami.
The douchey elves. All right, I'm going to go back to what I was going to say here. So,
oh my god! Even in a peaceful area, those people suck.
All right.
Oh no, we have episode 1 going on. Just refresh your.
Yeah,
home
we're
screen.
just watching episode 1 right now, Scott. Chris,
yeah, we're on. Yeah. All right. I wonder if that's a younger Elrond. Okay.
They killed her swan. She deserves to punch him.
Like I said, I am doing what I can as a massive fan of the franchise to stay open-minded on here. You know, the same way this is a Star Trek sequel version of Star Wars, or a Star Wars sequel version of Star Wars. It's someone else's eyes, it's someone else's vision, it's someone else's interpretation, if you will, or Paramount Plus's Star Trek. So I'll do what I can there.
And Davion will bear to try to handle this film,
and you'll be like, so are those elves? They look like Vulcans to me.
Yeah, that's.
Are there blonde Vulcans? So
the ears have improved since the original film trilogy. So
I don't know about that. I think the ears in the original one are more close to what the original one was. This looks very Vulcan-like, though. The eye colors are different. That's all right. That's actually
okay. That's Finrod. All right. That's the big brother.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing they did say about this was that the visual aspects were phenomenal. You know, that it looks very epic in this regard, which is probably where a lot of the money went from this.
I mean, so far it's nice. I mean, I kind of like what Finrod was saying there about how stones only look down at the dark, the ship looks up. But then she goes ahead and switches it. It's like, but the water is reflecting the sky. So how do I know which way is up and down? Which I think is like really a core to this series. It's always been a real thing about like there is only evil and there is only good. Grays don't really exist. But as we've seen in most fantasy, gray finds a way of putting itself in there.
Right. Visually, it looks awesome.
So far, so good.
Ooh, that tree got fucked. It's like the minute it goes out, it's done.
I wonder if that's the tree from Minas Tirith. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Valinor. That's where they are.
Man. So Middle Earth, basically, there's a tie into Mordor and all that. Let's see, that's that. I'm a couple of seconds behind you, so I'm going to pause this for a sec. Let you kids catch up.
So they treat Middle Earth like its own separate country.
Actually, Middle Earth is its own separate country.
I thought Middle Earth was just what they called Earth.
No, it's actually nations built in. There's multiple nations throughout. It's mentioned in Lord of the Rings too, because it's eventually Sauron hires mercenaries from outside of.
So is that where, in the third Lord of the Rings movie, is that where Frodo and Gandalf sail off to?
Into the West, yes. Now the West is an analogy for death in that particular case,
right?
So they're soaring off because there was something also, if you remember the movie, where Gandalf was talking to Pippin about what death is like, and about you're sitting there on the beaches and all this kind of stuff. He's like, that doesn't sound that bad. It's not. So that's where pretty much at the end of it, they sail off to die, and they sail off to the afterlife. So the elves go with them too, because it is past the time of the elves, and it's the time now for men.
Galadriel.
The scene we saw 1,000 times in the trailer. So Morgoth is defeated. Okay, well that was quick, I guess.
That's a big pile of helmets.
Yeah, but I was going to say we kind of like really barely glanced at the storyline of our Morgoth. It's like Morgoth is here. Oh shit, Morgoth is dead. Yay, we lost a lot of people. Fuck. Moving on. Yeah, like I said, I wonder if this series is going to eventually tie.
They were an invasive species, much like the lanternfly. Wow. It's an E. What's to know? East side?
I can't with you. Really, bro?
Dude, if they came from the West, this whole thing started as an East side, West Coast, East Coast battle.
Ladies and gentlemen, forgive this guy.
He knows not what he does.
No, all right, Tupac and Snoop, they lost.
Nobody won that battle.
I don't know. Biggie still looks on top right there.
And Tupac, too.
Hey, that other thing from the trailer.
The northernmost waste.
I make some of those.
You want to know who she looked like? She like Zelda.
Okay.
Well, that's only because right now she's dressed like Sheik.
Yeah. But also, it's the blonde hair and the ears. You know what? I could see that. Not like original Zelda, but later Zelda.
Yeah.
I bet you Game Zones would love that.
Now, see, that CGI ice was pretty bad there.
Yeah.
That doesn't even look. Oh, okay.
What?
It's fine.
You
What's
mean
in one place?
the ice fall? Yeah.
Oh, but the angles on this thing, the crane shots they're doing on whatever CGI set they have, fantastic. It's like I'm boy number 2. Focus on me. He's just looking at her. It's like, damn, bitch, we're not going any further. I need lunch. The northernmost edge. Why is there always that one person that thinks they're all gone? When do they ever be all gone?
Well, you have to have that drama that's built into it naturally, you know.
You were fine when you said camp, but you kind of lost her on the back end. It's actually kind of funny seeing Galadriel all militant and such, considering how we saw her in the films. She was just like, she stood there and she was angelic.
Well, that was the original. Well, see, that's part of the big problem that people have is the fact that it's deviating from what Tolkien specifically said about the character. You know, Warrior Galadriel was one of the big issues they had because of the fact that it was not the character that the fans wanted. It's a different.
Right, but one could almost see this as probably being like, okay, she grew up militant. She had too much of it. She decided to retire and just be like a lady that stands in the forest. That's all you need.
But to be honest with you, oh, never mind.
Yeah, see, they found shit. They're good. She's probably cackling to herself, ha ha, you all doubted me. Ooh. Vaguely reminiscent of that place where the Balrog was. Put it in the fire, you'll feel fine. Ooh.
Big hand move.
Oh, someone was there.
All right, can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 times I hit a button and really backed out of the stream. Sorry about that. 2 times.
Never.
Anyway, as I was saying, just comment this came in, which I can no longer pull up. I'm not convinced it's going to be a garbage fire, but I think people are just going to be like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing." I think it's like I said. I feel like this is going to eventually go the way of like Ghostbusters and some of the other reboots, where you're just like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Well, it's all, I mean, narrative and storytelling, I'm sure they'll do fine. It's a matter of whether or not there will be any water cooler moments, which is what you need for a television series to keep going. You need to have things be memorable.
And that's what Peter Jackson's trilogy did so well. You know, there were so many of those moments where you're like, holy shit. I put together, as I usually do, 5 facts in 1 minute, or in this case, 10 facts in 2. I finished up and I uploaded the Return of the King video. When I was editing that video this morning, granted on no sleep, there were two clips from that literally brought me to tears. They were both Aragorn, but it was one where he said, "For Frodo," and the other one was, "You bow to no one." And if you've seen the movies, you know the ones I'm talking about. I'm sitting there. I actually started getting emotional when I was actually editing it this morning. Anyway, sorry.
Like hell it was.
Hell of a water.
Oh yeah, no, that
Right now we're about almost 14 minutes into this for the first episode.
He is here.
But like I was saying before, part of the problem that people had was that this is a different Galadriel than Tolkien himself had said that she was. She was an angelic leader, not a warrior.
Yeah.
So the fans were like, dude, you kind of deviated from like I said, Galadriel being 6'4" and probably not, and really not being 6'4" in this. I'm not that anal on stuff like this. But when you're going in tight on shots like this, it just feels very average. There's nothing that illuminates the character here right now. There's nothing that illuminates this particular shot with her with the torch. And maybe she will later on. I don't know yet, but it so far feels kind of generic. He's alive.
He's alive.
He's alive.
He's always alive.
He's alive.
Where's the boy ever not alive?
As long as we believe.
He never died.
Ooh, that bow popped out pretty nicely. It's always the little details that get me. Oh, hell.
Yeah. Can I say idiots?
I believe you can, as they stand there and just wait for like a giant ice brick to be hit him in the head. Random extras. Charge the thing, random extras. Ow.
I mean, to be fair, these are elves. How many caves do they ever venture into?
Oh, shit. Oh, that was bad CGI. Dude, that was like bad Jet Li wire work there. Like Romeo Must Die wire work.
Slice.
And you literally pulled from Fellowship of the Ring. Straight up pulled right from that. When Legolas killed the troll and shot arrows straight to the troll.
Oh, the blood gets on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Double tap to the head.
Screw off, bitch. We're leaving.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like we just lost a bunch of friends, so we're gonna kind of handle that first, I think. And why exactly are they like you're going alone? Did I miss that?
It kills me that one of the characters is technically named Ryan.
Huh.
Thank you, Kip Chapman.
Did they explain why she's going alone? Did I miss that?
She's going alone because they don't want to go ahead and partake in her folly, basically.
Oh, yes. But she'll prove them wrong.
Will she, though? Really?
Possibly.
Yes, because she...
Oh, now we got the title.
Yes, because she goes all the way into Return of the King. She goes to the west with Frodo and Gandalf and the rest of the elves. So, yes, she will... We already know Galadriel will survive the series.
Right. I always had to say that just to throw the audience off.
Why are they wearing such big antlers?
By the way, yes, actually there are medics, and they have a great deal of healing options that they could have used in that situation.
Right. Some are magic and
Healing
some are actually does.
Yeah. Both herbs and magic they could have used, yes.
They're saying Harfoots are dangerous? The proto-hobbit is dangerous?
Here's the thing. If Harfoots are like hobbits, then yes, it's possible. because hobbits actually have remarkably good aim, and their ability to throw rocks is pinpoint.
Look at him just popping up like that.
So it's possible if a Harfoot is basically a hobbit, then they could throw a rock with deadly accuracy.
This feels like something out of Hook.
Kind of, they look like Lost Boys. Yeah.
It's like just add a little bit more color to them and it'd be the exact same clothing.
As you say that with the black guy on screen.
Yeah, but look at how they're setting up shop.
It's not a bad shire, if you want to call it that, I guess. Well, I don't know what they're going to call this place, but
this is like Hobbit Shantytown.
Well, here's the funny thing. The Shire, when it was built in the Peter Jackson one, they built that a full solid year before they started filming, so they can let the grass grow naturally. And then they just had sheep around to just eat the grass to give it a lived-in, developed look. So I don't know in this case how they decided to set this one up.
It's like the Shire if it needs urban renewal.
It's like they live in Sherwood Forest. They're living in Sherwood Forest.
He's just going at them like, bitches, stop gossiping. Oh, look at the bunny.
Full-size bunny, too.
Wait, what's that sound in the background?
What's that?
I was jiggling my leg, sorry. It's always the left leg with me, too. Hang on. They just mentioned 111. 111 was the age of Bilbo when he disappeared and went to Rivendell.
So that's Nori.
Yes, I believe that is our Nobbit, or not Hobbit.
Or not Hobbit?
Yeah, we're going to call it a Nobbit.
Nobbit.
Now, hobbits are peaceful, loving folks, They're never in a hurry and they take things slow. Womp womp. Do we know where they filmed this physically?
I mean, New Zealand's the first thing that comes to mind, but... Hold on, I can Google and find out.
Please and thank you. I'm actually curious about that.
Where was the Rings of Power filmed?
Because blackberries, at least on Earth, are the ones you're allowed to definitely have.
Yep. The cast shot in New Zealand from 2020 to 2021, but paused for several months due to COVID-19 pandemic.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Where was it shot at?
High fantasy. New Zealand.
Well, it's funny because when the Return of the King premiered in Peter Jackson's town of Wellington, 100,000 people came out to see the premiere. 1/4 of the entire population of the town came out for that movie.
Ooh.
You're going to eat all berries.
It's going to eat more than your berries.
Boy, that sounds like a euphemism for something. Hey, the fat one keeps eating. Hey, that's a
Oh, come on.
The fat one always has to keep eating. Is this it's typical Hollywood trope number
to my
73.
people.
Thank you. I mean, hell, Samwise didn't actually eat deliberately to give Frodo all the food. When he gave all the lembas bread to Frodo to make sure he could survive. And he was the fat hobbit.
It's always... I don't know. I'm not
so this is Elrond. The future Hugo Weaving.
Yes. Now,
look at him. He's like a baby.
I do like the look. I do like the voice. I was, from the trailer and everything like that, I do see him as a good Hugo Weaving Elrond, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, face-wise, he doesn't look like he would grow up to be Hugo Weaving, but he does look like he would grow up to be Doogie Howser. Doesn't he? He's got that scrunched face.
He does look like Neil Patrick Harris. Oh my god, I never saw it until now.
Yeah, whereas Hugo Weaving, like his face was like much longer.
Yes. Well, he'd already done a Matrix one too. That was a good run for that man. He went from Matrix to Lord of the Rings, back to Matrix.
And don't forget Transformers. He did Transformers.
That is true. I was trying to deliberately not say Captain America because that was years later, but
yeah, no, he's in all the big franchises, but he hated every minute of it. Apparently, never went back.
What? Yeah, these are tough to do. Certain people
Hugo
like that
Weaving's
a lot of times
tough nut to crack.
They prefer the theater aspect of things.
Oh,
the hair matches Cate Blanchett later. She doesn't marry him. That looks a little too affectionate.
What? Maybe they're poly. Who knows?
In this version, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, also keep in mind at this point in the story, Galadriel was also married too. So let's put that. But we're pulling that out of the story too.
Look, as long as there's no incest like Game of Thrones, that's all that I care about.
I think probably somebody would torch Amazon headquarters if there was some kind of a weird incest scene here going on. If there was a fuck scene in this movie, I think, swear to God, I think somebody would set fire to the Amazon building. I think Jeff Bezos' son will probably do so, based on the comment you sent to me yesterday or the day before, where his son was literally like, "quote Don't fuck this up."
Oh wow!
And all the comments were like, "I guess he didn't listen to his son." I mean, the set design's not bad. The nature aspect.
Everyone's like, "Hey, chill a while. Let's go have a drink.
Exactly.
Come out, relax.
Get your elf on."
Let me check out your Misty Mountains.
Okay. Okay.
Well, come on, they're younger, so obviously there's still vitality going on. We saw enough romance in the Lord of the Rings movies with Aragorn and Liv Tyler.
Well, Aragorn and Arwen were together since children. I mean, he was a Dunedain. He was 87 years old when Lord of the Rings happened.
Right, so and by elf comparison, they might as well be children themselves.
Yeah.
Even though we just saw her as a child.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think a lot of people realize Aragorn was actually 87 years old. Because being part of the Dunedain, he just naturally lives longer. Isildur, too, if you see him later.
It's like he's already pissed at you enough.
This is starting to become very CW. Am I wrong here?
Camera-wise, no.
But like dialogue-wise, it's starting to feel like a little soap opera-y.
Yeah.
Dory.
Look at my little girl. She's less dirty than everybody else.
Well, I got the feet size right too. If it's a predecessor to the Hobbit here.
Escargot.
Ugh, thank you,
I'm allergic.
Now, one of the things that was interesting about Fellowship is almost from the very beginning of the movie, pretty much from the very beginning of the movie, you saw the height differential from hobbits to everyone else. So the hobbits to Gandalf, the hobbits to Strider, or Aragorn, even height difference between Hobbit and Gimli. I wonder when this is going to happen. Oh, she's a Brandyfoot. Interesting. I wonder at this point how they're going to operate with that. Assuming at some point these guys are side by side with, say, Galadriel.
Well, that's the thing. Right now, you don't have any crossover between societies. Everyone's pretty much been segregated in a sense.
But if you notice, like I said, with Fellowship of the Ring, you introduce that like right at the very beginning, in the first few minutes, right after the intro. And you immediately were captivated because Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen were so close in real life height. But the way they shot it, it was like 4'7". Gandalf was 7'6", I want to say. So it was a very impressive job that was done. I would have liked to have seen something like that here in some way, if possible. to show, because right now you just have actors just doing their thing. You got background actors and just whatever.
I don't mind it. I mean, it pretty much gives us time to really get immersed in the actual communities and the environments from where they came from, as opposed to worrying about their differences and whether or not anything visually shows strength or might or weakness.
You mentioned something earlier that, the standout moments. To me personally, seeing Frodo with Gandalf on that cart was a standout moment because you saw how well they shot the height difference. And even when Gandalf was in Bilbo's house and smacked his head on, on the ceiling tiles, which by the way was an accident. Ian McKellen did not mean to do that. I haven't seen that holy shit standout moment here yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we are only less than 30 minutes in the first episode.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, we're 1/16th into this entire series.
It's like a young Zeus from the MCU.
Kind of, yeah. The armor looks very bland, too. In the original, in basically The Lord of the Rings, the armor was individually put together, one chainmail piece at a time. 12,500 pieces were individually connected together to the point that the people that actually did it actually burned off or cut off their entire fingerprints. They lost their fingerprints putting it all together. This armor feels very generic.
If you look at simplistic armor.
Yeah, I know, but it feels.
It doesn't necessarily need to be.
It doesn't pop. Expensive. Like I said, this stuff doesn't pop.
But I think it's fitting.
You think so? Okay, because of the time. Okay.
Well, because it's exploratory. It's not like wartime. There was obviously a difference between this armor and the armor that you saw from the battle earlier where her brother was dying.
But remember, these are the elves that have been through the Silmarillion. These are the elves that have been around since almost like Eru created the world. So they might have evolved to a degree past this, is what I'm saying. I mean, you're looking at it from 3,000 years prior to Lord of the Rings, yeah. But this is a society that's been around for thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. And
she's pissed about that. It's like, I ain't going anywhere. I still got work to do.
You set me up.
Bitch, set me up. Hey, fireworks.
Hey, Disney.
Ooh,
that butterfly.
The butterfly one was nice. I dig the butterfly one.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's like a brother's grave.
I guess so, yeah. Now, see, I like the lighting that they did there. I like, especially with the fireworks in the background, the walkway down. That actually, they might have taken a little bit from Fellowship on that. Oh, an orc reference. Yeah, like I said, this is, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not blowing my nuts off here like that. But we're back. We're actually literally exactly halfway through episode 1.
As a first timer that's watching this, I'm like,
Yeah, you know what, Day? Give me your honest opinion. No wrong answer. You have not seen The Lord of the Rings, so you're seeing this completely fresh, unlike tainted people like myself. Correct. What is your opinion? Again, no wrong answer on this.
Overall, I guess part of the issue is there's no action. There's like you're just sitting here hearing dialogue.
Well, that's the thing. The Lord of the Rings was never like high action. Peter Jackson certainly inserted what he could, but the
But here's
story
the
was
thing.
never necessarily about, battles.
But there was an
particularly.
but see, the first scene, well, almost the first scene in the beginning was an action scene because it was the battle against Sauron, which takes place, I'm guessing, a few years after this one here.
Right.
Where Isildur uses the broken shards of Narsil to cut off Sauron's finger and take the One Ring, and then had the chance to put it in throw it in Mount Doom and doesn't. So it sets the tone through a very intense battle scene that, again, I'm assuming takes place a few years after this. What we've had here so far, I guess, is what Day is saying, is we had a battle against a mountain or an ice troll, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. Which to me could have been easily avoided, could have been taken out.
You think it was just thrown in for an action scene?
Yeah, because to me, them standing right there waiting for the huge block of ice to hit him, like once you notice he's not right behind you, you're supposed to prepare for the inevitable. Like you got to prepare what could actually occur or what this creature is capable of.
These are trained. Yeah, I was gonna say these are trained elves. Keep in mind also, elves do not blink. Their eyesight is perfect. Their aim is perfect. They are arguably the best of the best when it comes to fighting. Yeah. But if you watch it here, see, he just blinked. Elves don't blink.
Yeah, he blinked.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, okay, maybe they evolved later. I would say it that way. But again, that was one of their biggest. Part of the reason that they were so good is their eyes are better than humans, and their accuracy and their aim as an archer is phenomenal. Perfect, literally perfect. Again, going to go back to it. I'm trying to stay open-minded, keep it as its own thing.
Well, that's the thing. I've been watching this, and it's like, I'll tell you right now, the guy playing Elrond, he's really embracing the Elrond. Like, it feels exactly like the same kind of character that you got in Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, whoever this guy
With
is,
his high and holy, I know better than you do sort of mentality.
Oh yeah, well you have to have the scummy, misogynistic douchebag guy here.
Let's do a drinking game. How many times is this guy going to blink and he's an elf?
By the way, this I want to point out was almost an entire bottle of wine, and I'm almost done with it. Not an impressive wine. I'm actually very disappointed. I thought it was going to be a better white. I prefer white wine typically, but this was a.
Have you tried sake? It's a.
Oh yeah.
You ever drink? Okay.
Demo. 日本人のアルコール大嫌いun peu. Sorry, I
just
just
got that look on her face like that's it.
I got one. Next show, which is not going to be next week because I won't be available. I'll show you a bottle to try out.
All right. So the guy that plays Elrond actually did 4 episodes of Game of Thrones.
What?
As young Ned. Yeah. 3 episodes, I think, called Harley and the Davidsons. Behind Her Eyes. I recognize something about that.
Okay, well, now we're just dealing with regular old humans. So,
hey!
Fucking
I
humans,
take
man.
offense to that.
Let's face it, in the world of Middle Earth, humans are just humans.
We have some great
Age of Men, which is now at this point in the series, the Age of Men had not appeared, so humans could be construed as lesser beings at this point. So it'll be interesting to see if they start to do something in that arena. Now, supposedly, the kingdom that is in this becomes the eventual Mines of Moria. So they did pull some stuff in there. Hey, it's that guy.
Yeah.
It was an elf.
Oh, this is a Rondir.
I
think I said it right.
He did. I'm not entirely sure. Is that an original character? Because I don't remember that from the originals.
There's probably a lot of original characters in this.
Yeah. Again, they went through with a fine-tooth comb what they could legally and not legally do with this entire series. So. Yeah. And for the record, I don't give 2 fucks if it's a black elf or whatever. I'm not that anal on this. Right. Times change. I get that part of it. Elves were supposed to be white. That's the way Tolkien wrote it. I don't care about shit like that. But like I said, so far this hasn't really. I'm trying to stay as open minded as I can be. This hasn't really like grabbed me. It's just like a series out there. That actually looks like DJ Qualls.
Maybe not the thing to say to a black elf.
One day our true king will return. 3,000 years from now, his name is Aragorn.
I can't, Ryan. I can't.
Yeah, see, okay, this I feel like they're getting right here because again, humans were considered to be lesser creatures back then because there was the age of elves and the age of dwarves. Oh, he's a nice guy.
He's kind of like got a cold demeanor. Like
somewhat, I guess,
like sensible, but not one to emotion. It's almost got like a John Diggle from Arrow sort of feel to him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Dude. Yes.
Or Stargate SG-1.
I don't. Well, Diggle.
Oh.
Was on Blue
okay. Yeah, I see a little Christopher Judge in him.
I never saw Stargate SG. I never saw any of the Stargates. I wish I should have. Maybe
wow.
I know. Maybe it's a series I got to get into.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta see MacGyver doing his thing.
Yeah, so give it some time. This is only the first episode. Yeah, it is. However, this is only 8 episodes. This is shorter than the Lord of the Rings trilogy as far as time goes. More expensive too, even adjusting for inflation. So you don't have as much time to set a tone here because you're looking at 8 hours roughly versus in not even counting the extended cut in like, versus like 9 or 10 hours here. The extended cut, you're looking at like 11 and a half, 12. But you have a bunch of people who just talking. Yeah. Like I remember John Peters talked about you need action beats. We've had one against a throw-in troll, but so far it's just been
they'll be
people
flirting.
going to talking, people walking.
Right.
It's how you gonna break up the mood, man? It's like, don't mind me. I'm just coming out here half naked with my barrel. Keep flirting. Exactly. Go on.
Actually, reminds me of Clerks 2. It's like even the fucking trees walked in that movie. Talking about Lord of the Rings.
And he's like, yeah, well, I think you're too horny.
Shake my head.
Shake my head.
I mean, basically, that's what it was. He just went there to go talk to the girl.
Nah.
My brain is telling me to talk to her.
And yet, in this case here, it actually ends up working out later because, again, Aragorn and Arwen, and they have kids whose names I forget offhand. Good job.
Oh, okay. So they're just now getting it from the outpost.
It's
like, no, but I haven't gone to first base yet.
I like her.
I'm jonesing for some well girl.
I'm going to move on as quickly as possible from that particular line.
Good answer. Good answer.
So, how about those Mets? They won today, by the way.
Congratulations.
Yes. Beat the Dodgers again for second game in a row. 79 years of instation. That sounds about right for an elf. Like I said, this is an extremely evolved species. Watch Warden. My name is Frank, by the way. Come on. Yeah, see, Day, I think what you need to do after you see this is you need to start watching the action, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, and see what it is that maybe I'm talking about a little bit here. And even just pull up clips on YouTube just in general. Don't even go full crazy if you need to.
Okay.
Start with the one I sent you, but basically where Aragorn fights Lurtz and saves Boromir at the end of Fellowship. And just see the emotions that come from a very, frankly, in the grand scheme of things, an average scene. But it's badass as hell. The fight choreography is amazing. Funny thing about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the fight choreography from that, the sword choreography, was the same guy who did Highlander, Princess Bride, and Mask of Zorro, and also did Darth Vader's lightsaber battles in Return of the Jedi, and also Return of the Empire Strikes Back.
You so Bob Alexander, Highlander.
He was the sword choreographer for Lord of the Rings and all of those movies leading up to it.
You sold me.
Yeah. So, like I said, the fight scenes are fucking amazing in those movies.
Yeah, me. While you guys are talking that stuff, I'm like actually following plot.
Dude, there hasn't been a plot.
Bad.
People walk, people talk, and people glare at each other like CW. I don't think I've really lost much, watching this so far. So far, you have all these concurrent storylines that are going on simultaneously, but we don't know who the fuck these people are. Who are these people?
Well, the thing is, what I think the difference between this and the movies is that we're not being thrown into the immediate threat. We're doing a lot of world building and character introduction.
But you've only got like 8 episodes here. I mean, who knows? Maybe it won't be 8 hours. Maybe it'll be longer than that as they go towards the end. It's like 2 hours, 3 hours, kind of like Stranger Things did. That is possible. But I don't know. I mean, it's just like I said, it's a bunch of people just talking.
Well, I admit, when they had all those character posters come out, like there was like 16 of them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's a lot of characters.
Yeah, you got Black Elf Lady, King of Moria, that dude.
So I admit that there's probably going to be a lot of stuff to get through that it may feel like it's all not connected or some of it's less relevant than others. But for right now, at least they're sticking to like, one story and then one story, then one story. And then it'll probably all blend together towards the end.
But the question is, if they have too many stories here, are people going to get lost being like, okay, what are they dealing with again? Because you introduce too many, the audience may struggle with that.
There's a possibility, but I think the fact of the matter that we know where this all eventually goes up to and that the good and evil aspects of this stuff are simple.
I guess they're fighting Morgoth again. I don't know. At least with Lord of the Rings, you knew immediately Sauron survived. Sauron is still out there. So it's almost like Avatar: Last Airbender. In the first episode, you know where the last episode is going to have to go. Here, it's like, I don't know where this is going yet. Moo.
Ew. Oh, that is not chocolate milk.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You want to talk moments? That's a moment right there.
That's a weird moment, but I think you may sell me on that one particularly.
Yeah, you'll remember that.
I think I have some milk in the fridge right down here too.
I was about to say. Who wants chocolate, kids?
Chocolate milk does not come from brown cows.
80% cacao.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 18 minutes left of this episode, including whatever amount of credits are left.
I'm stupid.
It's all right, dude. I've had half a bottle of wine at this point. So the fact that I'm actually mildly sober is impressive or disappointing, depending on where you look at it.
I'm surviving.
I'm still standing better than I ever did.
Well, it's not as bad as Dragon Ball.
Listen, Dragon Ball Evolution was not terrible if you accept that it's not Dragon Ball. If it's just a movie, it's okay. Caddyshack 2 and Legend of Chun-Li, I think, were the worst ones we ever did. My God, that was hell and boredom.
Yeah, I was like,
ooh.
Okay, so is this a reboot or an origin story? It is kind of an origin story and a reboot at the same time.
Well, I mean, for maybe a couple of characters, you could say it's origin, but really, it's pretty much just more prequel.
Basically, it's prequel. It's Galadriel's story. Galadriel was. What is that now? What are we looking at?
That's some broken sword right there.
Basically, this is Galadriel's story. In Lord of the Rings itself, eventually Galadriel becomes what's known as the Lady of Lothlorien, and a very, very wise mage, very, very wise person. So this is her story prior to like Lord of the Rings itself. However, again,
that was definitely some Sauron shit right there.
This again is changing a lot of what Tolkien originally written. So,
and see, that's the thing. You almost want to like hate the elves for thinking so little of man because of what they had done in the past, and yet someone held on to part of the goddamn sword, and it's taking over the one's kid. So, yeah, maybe humans are stupid in this world.
They did not think much of humans in Lord of the Rings either. Men are weak. Minds. Elves do not care. They stay in their caves, mining only for gold.
Yeah, and
so elves were very, very elitist
across, whether it be Wormtongue or Boromir, they proved that point.
But see, what bridged the gap between elves and man was Aragorn, because he was a Dunedain who was raised by elves. So despite the fact that he was human, he became a ranger and trained under the elves. So he bridged the gap between the two species. And that's why
he was Mowgli from the Jungle Book. I get that.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. Well, see, I don't know if Jungle Book came out first or Lord of the Rings did, but
I think Lord of the Rings did. I'd say
Lord of the Rings.
I mean, there's 1,000 things that J.R. Tolkien brought in that we never used before. Oh, Jungle Book might have been like 19th century, 1890. Roger Clipping wrote it 1894. So yeah, that did predate Lord of the Rings and Hobbit.
Wow.
But the idea is the same. Like I said, in this case, he became a leader of both, and both would fight and die for him. And some did, and many did. That's why it's the third book is called Return of the King, because he is the king of both. Not just Minas Tirith, but the king of the elves too. The elves that chose to stay behind.
He's fanboying a little bit.
Oh, this actor looks familiar.
Hey, it's that guy. Yeah.
He's like soothsaying.
Now, see, the artwork does look Why is he reading Elvish? Whatever. Fuck it. Now, see, again, I can't speak for Harfoot, but hobbits never gave two shits about the outside world. When Frodo finally returned after saving the world and everything like that, he was ostracized by Hobbiton because he left the town. And they were just like, screw you, dude. We don't care about you anymore. It's like, I saved the world. Yeah, we don't care. We don't believe you.
Okay, but to be fair, by comparison, the Shire is basically like the suburbs. He was sitting comfortably. These people look like they're down in East Bumblefuck.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the Proudfoot and the Brandybucks and all the rest of the hobbits, they looked at everybody that came back, despite the fact they saved the world, and looked at him with disdain, being like, "Why would you leave this?"
Yeah, they were snobs.
And eventually in the book version, Saruman attacked Hobbiton, but that wasn't used in the movies, and that's nobody really cares on that particular regard. But eventually, they earned their worth that way.
She's like, I know you didn't just talk about my ancestors.
I feel like this is some kind of a, allegory for like racial relations or something. Did he abandon his post for her right now? That probably will not go over well.
Say it. Vampire.
You're right. He's 100. Well, actually, half age plus 7 does screw that up a little bit right here.
Well, yeah, if he was around for 79 years, he was definitely around before she was born.
No, he was at that post for 79 years. He's hundreds of years old, easy.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He would have known like her mom and grandmother and such, and
yeah, that gets a little weird there. So,
but again, you have to think about it. It's like dogs, you know. It's like the however many months or however many years, you know. It fits. He looks young enough.
well, like I said, they age far, far differently.
Right.
So, what's happening here? Good shot of the eye there. I like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we watching here?
Oh,
he could be.
Like, no. This is
black
mine.
guy dies first.
No. But she is not letting go of the sword. There you go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Don't hold it back.
To that guy. Yeah.
Birds singing in the distance. Oh no, he's gonna stay alive. He's a main character.
Yeah, no, he'll survive. Yeah.
He so far is our main love interest. Oh, they all sing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh.
It's like, Galadriel, we can't hear you with the rest of the chorus.
And I was gonna say, and yeah, basically, one of these singers is not like the other.
Come to heaven, my children. Simba, remember who you are.
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
Oh, so this is how they play it back into it. Oh. Bad omen. Always a bad omen.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going to happen? Something's going to happen.
Huh.
I can feel the anticipation.
Yeah, it's certainly a long setup for the fucking anticipation.
Oh, she
What
is
this?
mad skittish.
What is the Star Trek motion picture here? Okay. And still waiting.
Oh, there's Ents. There are Ents.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's looking.
It's like, I don't want to give you my hand.
Yeah.
You got cooties.
Ew, boys have cooties. Ew.
It's like, what will you take? The hand or the dagger? But sometimes the light shines.
Gee, I wonder which one it's going to be.
In the water as they do in the sky.
Huh.
Oh. Oh, so that's what he said.
Still waiting.
Nope.
We know, dude, we know where this is going to go.
Do it.
We know where this is going to go.
I know, but I want to see how it goes down.
I know, but it's like, hurry the fuck up already. Jeez.
Oh, please. Let's not talk, considering how many endings Return of the King had.
Endings, not beginnings.
Exactly.
Yes, but that took slow enough, and there was multiple ones. Here, it's just the anticipation.
Yeah, but see, but the difference.
And yes, she did go into the golden vagina, so now she's out of heaven.
This guy.
I never even thought of it that way, but you know what? Hey,
See, sounds cinematically, that was just nice. The
It
blackened sea, her just sitting in it.
was okay.
The single leaf falling from the
I
tree.
wasn't blown away by that.
The symbolism in this show is nice.
It's a little obvious, though.
Oh, that's a funky leaf.
Won't you take me to Funky Leaf?
Seriously.
I coming.
Let's see. All the important characters saw the meteor. I guess meteor. So what fell? What lies in the bottom of the pit besides Obi-Wan? A person. It's Superman.
Don't touch him.
He's radioactive. Oh, J.A. Bayona. All right. That actually explains a little bit of the acting, now that I think about it. If anyone's ever seen any of his movies, they have slower pacing too.
Actually, I've already started. The second episode already started, so.
Should we pause?
I paused at 6 seconds. I think it's probably not a bad idea.
I paused at 2 seconds. So let's reflect on the first one real quick.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you. You know what? Better yet, let Day start because he's not tainted by the originals. As nerdy geek like I am is.
I'm gonna be honest. For something like this, I wasn't sold for the first episode because it was kind of slow. Meaning, like, it was more conversation. I think more walking in, meeting characters, and it's not explaining different aspects of each character or who's this person, who's that. So pretty much the first episode did not sell me too much. And maybe it's because I'm new to it. I haven't watched the original Lord of the Rings trilogies. So I think I'm going to sit back and watch the trilogies first and then go into this.
I think
that's going to be a lot of man hours.
Yeah, but I think you'll get into it. I think basically with the action scenes and the way they shot everything, I think you can get engrossed in it very quickly. Again, 17 Oscars, 30 nominations for the trilogy. So I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Because this one feels like, okay, who's this? Who is that?
Yeah, it's a lot of basically. It's like if you try to sit there, it's like, okay, Nori is the Harfoot, Arondir was the elf, Galadriel, okay, fine, Elrond, fine, but it's too many moving parts right now, too many new names, and I'm struggling, and I know the franchise,
right?
So you added all these characters, and I'm still trying to figure out who the blazes some of these people are. What did I miss? Galadriel decided she's not going to the West and she's staying with, in the era of man, shall we say.
Yeah, basically no one's died yet.
Correct.
Except for random extras against a troll.
If they died.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, just to clarify this from what I was looking at, I just looked at Eru's timeline when he created the world. He created basically the elves in the years of the trees. So the elf civilization, they're about 12,000 years old or so at this point. Just to let you know.
Gotcha. So
yeah, basically it's
since I'm probably going to have the more optimistic approach on this. Scott, what did you think?
I stayed as open-minded as possible. Again, I was raised on the original one. My first movie credit ever was the extended cut. My birthday again is Hobbit Day.
Yes,
but speaking directly, this feels strangely average. Like nothing really popped. Nothing really felt like holy shit. There was no holy shit moment in it.
Right.
Maybe new episodes will, but it just felt like basically just a bunch of people talking. We had one action scene. It's almost like it was expecting the fan base to be so engrossed that they weren't going to care, even while they're trying to pull in new people into this brand new Lord of the Rings or, Rings of Power franchise. There wasn't, I felt, enough to really capture people in this. And I feel like it was just there, I guess, for lack of a better description.
I can understand that. I could make the argument, though, and even though we haven't gotten to it yet, this may be why they set up a 2-episode premiere.
Smart, true.
Because chances are they know that there was a lot more exposition, a lot more groundwork being laid out in the first episode, especially with the introduction of the younger versions of certain characters that you know and the new characters who you don't know.
Right.
So I can imagine that's probably why the second episode is necessary in order to make sure that there's a little something for everybody. Chances are it picks up the pace a little bit. We won't know that until we watch. But as far as the first episode in itself, I didn't mind it.
Mm.
You know, I'll admit, yes, slow pacing and a lot more dialogue heavy. But the things that were being said made a lot of sense. I do believe that, especially in the sense of, say, someone like Elrond, his acting, his characterization fits so much of what we've already seen from the original trilogy. He's nailed the character, no problem.
Credit to him, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
And I'll even say, what was the black one?
Arondir?
Arondir.
Yeah, see,
I like his vibe.
You're struggling
I like what he's
with the
coming
names
with.
of these characters.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Okay, look. I didn't know the name of the characters when I first saw Lord of the Rings. I didn't know who Merry and Pippin were. I couldn't tell them apart. All right? This is all new names. But lucky I know Galadriel and Elrond. All right? Because those are the only two well-established. And Sauron, I suppose.
Sure.
But, yeah, anytime you're starting something new, you're not going to necessarily grasp people right off the bat. And, you know, at least the names are simple enough that once you start talking about them enough and you're saying them enough, you'll get it. It's not like we're saying, Ishkabibble. You know, imagine if there was a character called Ishkabibble. No, if you've never heard that name before.
For short.
Yeah, sure. Give them a nickname. Make it easy. But I like what they're doing with the characters so far. I like that the non-hobbits are obviously different.
The Nobbits.
Which helps, because if they were exactly like the hobbits, but you couldn't call them hobbits, yeah, it would be stupid. So do change them a bit. If that means you have to make them ghetto hobbits, living out in the woods, poor ass hobbits, whatever you gotta do. But there is obviously a societal disconnect from what we already know, which helps establish the characterizations and how they do differ. As for the elves, got no problem there because they're all pretty much stuck up their own ass except for Galadriel. And the whole thing with the watchtower elf and the girl, I like that they're actually incorporating a little bit of romance. It's like you have your redemption, your vengeance story with the elves. You have a bit of a romance story like you got in the original Lord of the trilogy with the archer there, and you do have a little bit of a feel of adventure and exploration with the Harvoots. So it is giving you a little bit of everything, and it is fractured so that this way there are enough characters and enough storylines for everyone to grab onto something. That I admire, that I like. It almost felt like with the Lord of the Rings, since everyone with the Fellowship of the Ring, you just clobbered them all together and you sent them out. You pick up on who still lives.
But see, here's the funny thing about that. There's a thing, by the way, Anthony loved episode 1, so let's give a shout out to that and the fact that, there's the thing basically within film screen, that you can never go above 7 characters. Because after you go past 7, you lose your audience. It's typically, this is a problem that the Street Fighter movie Steven D'Souza wrote in 1994 had a problem with. Because Capcom wanted all the characters in there, and Steven D'Souza is like, you will lose your audience in this case. Fellowship of the Ring was 7. They kept it to that deliberately because of the fact that Tolkien knew that this was going to become a problem. I'd love to get to see Celebrimbor, playing the Shadow of Mordor. Okay, Shadow of Mordor, the game itself. Yeah, okay. Now I was going to say, my question is, will the Maiar show up in this? Who knows what's going to happen? Will we have a Gandalf or a Saruman in there? They've already established, Morgoth will be part of this. So, the Valar, I just looked it up real quick. So that case there, it's entirely possible that they might bring in some of the other characters. The Hobbit movie itself, which again, I have problems with that one because Peter Jackson didn't really want to do that, but it's kind of shoved on him. They brought in Radagast in the Hobbit movies. Radagast was fine. I mean, he was his own character and all this kind of stuff. He was never in the Hobbit movie. So it is entirely possible we may see the Valar and also the Maiar in this, as the series progresses, which would be a nice nod.
Didn't they also create the White Orc? That wasn't something from the book either, correct?
I don't believe it was, no.
No.
But yeah, I mean, as far as, like I said, you might get a Shelob in there. I'm just looking up the real quick list of some of the things in here. Mm-hmm. Saruman.
Yeah, the beauty of something like this is that you have enough things fractured out throughout Middle-earth that you can play around with adding a lot more. I know it may seem like a lot of characters already, and surely there's still more to go on. Once we get to the dwarves, that's going to be a whole other story, obviously.
Yeah.
But
right.
I like that at least everything has its own place.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, Morgoth is bigger than Sauron was. So I think that's part of the thought process that they've gotten here in this particular case.
Yeah, as of right now, like this Sauron just seems like a general on the come up. He's like Starscream once Megatron is gone.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm about to let everybody go. I'm out.
That's right. You're gonna pop out.
All right.
So.
Yeah. So Day, you go ahead. You do your fine-tuned research. Watch all the movies.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing if and when this continues, obviously you'll be welcomed back in.
Right.
Yes. And start off with the video that I sent you. Like I said, it was the end of the Fellowship when Aragorn fought Lurtz the Uruk-hai. So,
okay.
Just start with that 4-minute video. I think it'll set a tone very quickly. It's mild spoilers, but it will not really affect the rest of the franchise as far as spoilers go.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, y'all have a good night. See you, audience, next time.
Night, Day.
Bonsoir, sir. So, all right.
Enjoy.
We'll see what happens. So, listen,
I can't get him on board. I'm trying so hard, man.
Like I said, I'm staying open-minded. I really am. I'm doing a good job with that. I'm proud of myself for staying open-minded and not nitpicking too badly, like elves blinking or their hair color or their eye color. I'm leaving that part out of it, accepting that this is the Disney version of George Lucas. This is the Paramount Plus version of Star Wars or Star Trek. I'm working with that part of it. But like I said, it just felt like it was just there. And you mentioned earlier, right now you have House of the Dragon. This thing is a direct competition with House of the Dragon, which was a lower budget, was already established. And like I said, I still stand by belief. I mean, who knows if I'm going to be right or not? But I almost wonder if people are going to be like, oh yeah, where it's like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But it's going to be more known for the fact that so much money was spent as opposed to the psychological, emotional, and visual aspect that it left on, or impact that it left on people.
See, but here's the difference here. Here we're starting with a franchise that, since the last Hobbit movie, has pretty much been just like quiet. Unless you play video games, you're not dealing with anything Middle-earth oriented. There hasn't been anything else. Whereas the House of the Dragon, that's coming right off the heels of Game of Thrones. It's not too far gone from when that series ended. It's only been a couple of years. Chances are it probably would have come out sooner had it not been for the pandemic. So that's at least fresh enough in people's minds that it's easy enough to refer back to. This is almost like starting from scratch. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, sure, but too much absence makes you forget.
Like I said, I'm doing what I can to just be open-minded as heck.
Obviously, Anthony's a fan.
Like I said, I was a member of the Lord of the Rings fan club 20 years ago. So my first ever movie credit, and I've spent 12 years in the film industry. I was on set for an overnight last night for a Hulu series, and I am wiped, partly because of the fact that Jackhammer started outside of my house at 7:30 in the morning, and nobody told me. But my first ever film credit was the extended cut of Fellowship of the Ring, and my name is in the credit for all 3 of those movies. So I'm that much of a nerd.
We have seen the stills. It is true.
I am a geek. I am a proud geek, man. I was a geek, but when you got the shit kicked out of you for being a geek, felt fan made. Well, let me ask you this: what do you mean by felt? Which project do you feel was fan made? Peter Jackson's was admittedly a little fan made because he did say he wanted to do it for Tolkien himself. and what the fans would have wanted. So there was a lot of fan service. I did a video on Return of the King. He wanted to take out the Army of the Dead, but left it in because he felt the fans would be pissed off if he took it out.
But see, Anthony's talking exactly like what I was saying. The fact that this show is using a lot of new actors, a lot of fresh faces, it's allowing you to get more immersed in the characterization and in the environment in itself, rather than being distracted by who's necessarily doing what role.
Here's the thing. Viggo Mortensen, Miranda Otto, these people were not household names. I mean, the only reason we knew Hugo Weaving because we just saw him in The Matrix. Elijah Wood was like that kid guy. He did a few movies. Obviously, but I mean, Dominic Monaghan, Billy Boyd, we had no idea who these people were. Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen, we knew him from like X-Men. Prior to that, it's like, who the hell was that guy? There was a lot of relatively to the West and the North American audience, a lot of relative unknown people. So we know them now, but at the time, we did not know who a lot of these people were. This Rings of Power is doing much of the same, where it's bringing in quote unquote unknowns. I'm not gonna say unknowns, but lesser known.
I don't recognize any.
I mean, here's a good example. The character of Eowyn from basically Two Towers and also Return of the King was offered to Kate Winslet and also Uma Thurman, both of whom turned it down. Nobody really knew who Miranda Otto was. We know now because she was in those two, and then that led to King Kong and a bunch of other things that she did. This was the Peter Jackson trilogy was in a lot of ways a launching point. Nobody outside of Australia knew who the hell John Noble was until he played Denethor. Viggo Mortensen, I remember he did a movie called The Perfect Murder with Michael Douglas. But other than that, I had no idea what this guy did. Nobody really knew. Like I said, there was not like mind-blowing, holy shit names in here. Gandalf was offered to Sean Connery. He said no. Christopher Plummer said no. Patrick Stewart said no. Sir Ian McKellen, at the time, Ian McKellen, it was like, oh yeah, Magneto. Okay, cool. And that at the time, X-Men, we had one X-Men movie. It's like,
yeah, no, that wasn't bad. I mean, yes, you can say that there were a lot of fresh faces in that too, but it also did have the right amount of star power to at least push the narrative. Yeah. House of the Dragon felt fan-made. Okay.
I don't personally have a problem with fan-made because I think what's happening too much in Hollywood in general is that people are doing what they want and fuck the fans. I have a problem with that because Netflix went through this with He-Man. They're like, we don't care what the fans want. They went on record as saying, we do not care what our customer base wants. And as a result, a lot of fans are like, well, dude, what am I paying for?
Did they say that they didn't care what the customer base wants? Or they didn't care what those hardcore fans that are hating on it because of one reason or another don't like it?
When the backlash for He-Man or Masters of the Universe Revolution came out, Revelation, whichever one, whatever, the Kevin Smith one. When that came out, Kevin Smith called the execs at Netflix and they're like, what do we do? And the exact response, and look up the quote, he said it. He said, the execs told me, we don't care what the fans want. And that's where I think part of the problem is. I don't mind fan service because I think in our society, we need some freaking escapism right now. And that's what I think Peter Jackson did because I showed you the quote on Tuesday on our show for Tales from the Film Set. I showed you the quote that said that he had the opportunity to invoke political commentary and current events, but he's like, we chose deliberately not to because we wanted to make a movie that Tolkien could be proud of. This is the one, basically this one here, the exec producer said, we went into this and wanted to reflect the world as it is now. And that's where I think probably people have the problem. They want escapism. They want fan service a little bit more than what they're getting.
But see, I think you still can do both at the same time.
You can, but I think too many people are focused on what their exact vision is, as opposed to being
that is a problem, though.
Will our customers actually like this? And I think at some point, Hollywood has gotten to a point where it's like, we don't care about our customers anymore.
Right, but you can also put it the other way. It's not so much about like the vision that the filmmakers or the show producers have. It's also about the fan-made visions of the fans. If they don't do, fans have been given so much power nowadays that if things don't mesh with their own personal vision or their fan theories or their creative endeavors, that the way they would do it, they're going to hate it. And people have gotten maybe a little bit too high on themselves to allow other people to share their vision. Because God forbid their vision not match up with your vision, and then you're going to be a cynical fan about it just because it's not the way you would want it.
I think part of the problem before.
You're bouncing around on your mic again.
Sorry. I'm a little hyper right now. I'm sorry about that. I think part of the problem.
Good. That's energy. Keep it up. Keep it up,
dude. I've had 3/4 of a bottle of wine right now. I think part of the problem that exists in this point is the fact that we have so much content. We have so much thrown at us. You go back 20 or 30 years, forget streaming services. Some people didn't have cable. I remember the 1970s. I remember the 80s, the 90s. We had cable, but we didn't have, obviously there was no streaming services, none of that stuff. There is so much content, which in turn forces all these companies like Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, all these companies to continue to pound down product and fire new product and new content to people to keep up with the proverbial streaming Joneses that are out there. And I think that's why you're getting some of the quality you're getting, because it's all about getting the next new thing out there, as opposed to the next holy shit new thing out there.
Right, but I don't think they'd make that much of an investment on something like this just for it to be a new thing and not a holy shit thing. I want to believe that they're at least investing enough money in something like this, and it's going to be reflected in the episodes, not just visually, but also in the grandeur scope of everything, of the character, of the environments, of the storytelling. Yes, right now the storytelling seems basic, but until we actually get further into the minutia, it's going to seem basic. It's going to seem basic from the beginning. We have to dive deeper. We have to go deeper into the water like the stone.
By the way, I would apologize. This mouse that I have here, I have a brand new setup here, which is better than this mouse has a left tab button, which is automatically set up to go back a page. So 3 times so far now in the hour and a half, I have inadvertently hit this button and backed out of Restream and then have to go back in again.
This is why I don't touch the mouse. The mouse is right there.
Oh,
I am working with my Xfinity remote, and I am good.
But see, here's the thing. I'm running the Restream here, so I have to do certain things.
Yes.
So
you are in charge, and then I'm stuck here by myself.
System of, I'm like holding it like this, the mouse.
But all right. So enough discussion. Do we get into number 2 now?
Here's what I'm going to do. Give me 2 minutes, not even. Let me basically refill this with whatever is left in there. Let me pile out the entire bottle of wine right now. I am not by any means drunk, but I'm enjoying myself. So I will be right back. So hang on. You're in charge, Ryan.
All right. I am in charge, but I have no controls over any of this stuff. So if people are going ahead and putting in comments, I am sorry I can't bring those up. Scott will bring those up in due time. So any of you people that are still watching along with us, go ahead, place your comments. Let us know what you thought of the first episode as we are going into the second episode, which is itself entitled what? What is the title for the second one? It's not even telling me. I've got no title. I've got rated 14, TV 14, flashing lights, frightening scenes, alcohol use, foul language, violence. All the good stuff. So we are going to go ahead and get into that very shortly once he gets back. But yes, let us know your comments, your concerns. You like it, you love it, you hate it, you loathe it. Anything is acceptable.
It's definitely a thing. Starting episode 2. Yeah, we're going to start episode 2 in a few seconds ourselves.
Okay, Anthony.
Yes, please give us your.
Don't forget to share it with your friends. Let everyone else know. If you're watching along, get them to watch along with you.
Trust me,
Let's
I've been
make it a communal
looking
thing.
at the numbers. You were in charge, even though you weren't in charge. I heard that part of it, but adrift, yes. But as far as this goes, like I said, we'll start episode 2. I jumped ahead a little bit because I went past the recap. So I'm currently sitting at 2:15.
I'm at 2 seconds.
What's that?
I'm at 2 seconds.
All right, so I'm going to wait for you to catch up to 2:15 because it's all recap of what we just saw. So I'm sorry, Tyler. Apparently, we waited a little too long on the discussion.
Yo, you don't want to piss off Tyler, man. Tyler, get on you.
Yeah. So.
Oh, there's a skip recap button. Okay.
Yes, there is. That's why I jumped. And it jumped ahead like 2 full minutes there.
That puts me at a minute 23. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Do we want to start from there?
Let's see. What are you at? I'm sorry.
I'm at a minute 29.
All right. And now so am I.
Okay.
So I've got
Because
Amazon.
I'm guessing this is going to
Amazon
be like the
Studios
official opening credits scroll
Yes,
that we
we'll see
didn't get
that.
in the first episode. It just kind of like went right through. So I really want to see what this looks like. So if you want to do I'll do a countdown.
Please, yeah,
Starting
as I'm
at a
typing
minute
right
29, where it says an Amazon Studios production, and there's a lot of little rocks.
now. Yes, and
We're
Howard
going
Shore.
5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5. No, 1.5.
Yeah,
Going
you
back
went
from,
up there.
yeah, 1.5. 1.
By the way, it's showing Howard Shore's name on here as the composer. Howard Shore was also the composer for both Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So the music would make some sense in here.
Oh, this looks pretty.
That Ryan reveal. We're gonna call it something. We're gonna call it a thing.
Oh, Tyler knows me from my AMC days, so he knows how I rate things.
By the way, just to let you know, we are just in the opening part of it. So, Tyler, if
Yeah,
you're ahead of us
Tyler,
right
you
now,
might want to hold off and bear with us.
Yeah, 203 right in 205. Oh, Bear McCreary did the music. That's a decent name too, though. So yeah, right now,
no, he does all kinds of
we're
music, man.
side by side.
Yeah, J.A. Bayona, executive
Spoiler,
producer.
I think we get a fight scene of some sort. Finally, some action.
Oh, but I like this opening.
Yeah.
Oh, see that stretch of dark rock that's just invading everything. All the different like scrolls and languages.
Based on Lord of the Rings and Appendices by Tolkien.
Oh, that's pretty.
Hmm.
Wonder why they went gold with the opening and not like silver like they've done with all the posters.
Well, if the rings themselves are gold, because the one ring it had a gold look to it.
Well, yeah.
So
I don't know if the other dudes do.
the opening.
It is, Anthony. It really is. It's very calming,
Yeah.
soothing, almost euphoric.
Yep. Okay. Oh yeah. Recapping back with her in the water again.
In the blackness
All
of
by
the sea.
herself.
Going back to the first episode, opening, talking about the darkness in the water. Up, and she's about to swim the English Channel.
Yes, that is
Guinness
a
World
long
Record
swim
holder, Galadriel. And we're here with David Bowie, the boy who fell to Middle Earth.
Actually, David Bowie was approached to actually be in Lord of the Rings. I forget as who though.
I could see him as an elf.
But they were afraid because they didn't want somebody too recognizable. They're like, holy shit, it's David Bowie. I forget who though.
Poppy is the new Samwise.
Dude, pretty much, yeah. Good job, dumbass.
Fire!
And apparently, All right, so we finally got the thing.
Okay. So here's your
the height. I was just gonna say, the height differential finally.
Yeah, here's your Frodo Gandalf.
I wonder.
No, I don't think that'd be Gandalf.
I don't know. I mean, average 6 foot. I mean, here's the thing: Gandalf is about 7'6", maybe 8 foot. Yeah.
Oh my God, that face!
Yeah.
Wow. That's gonna be a meme,
dude. Really? So.
Okay, the man's obviously got some power.
Jaws is a shark, yes, and Jaws 4 is a Christmas movie, and I defy anyone to tell me it's not. He has a little bit of a Sir Ian McKellen look to him. Now if it's
but he could easily be Saruman too. He's just an old guy.
Yeah, Saruman hadn't basically decided to get the ring for himself yet. But he's not. His hair is gray, not white, though. I thought because Gandalf. Well, they're definitely not hobbits because hobbits would be like, fuck them, let them get eaten. The giant who fell to earth.
He's almost got like a pimp mentality. It's like, bitch,
Dude,
go.
yeah, it's like, bitch, get out of here.
You stay at home. I'm gonna venture out. Oh. Oh, okay, it's the kids.
Yeah. They got it. Okay.
Well, someone had too much fun at the party. Just like putting them in a shopping cart and wheeling them to the hospital.
Diablo or Tyrell? I don't. Again, coming back to this, the question is going to be, are they introducing more characters, and is that going to be a struggle here as you're trying to maintain all of these new folks here? Yeah, see, like I said, hobbits would have just been like, screw that, you're on your own.
Scott.
What?
Wrong thing.
No, thank you.
Now, if you are watching She-Hulk nowadays, folks, we did do that earlier today.
Did I delete the one I was looking for then? No, you know what? Here.
And
all right. Yeah, I found it. Sorry about that. So.
Oh, that's
okay.
A little bit of levity
let's
does help.
clarify this one. No, they are not, in fact, hobbits. They are Harfoots. When they bought the legal rights to the J.R.R. Tolkien franchise and everything like that, legally they cannot call themselves Harfoot. Or, I'm sorry. Legally, they cannot call themselves hobbits. That is trademarked. Therefore, we created a new character called Harfoots. They are apparently a predecessor to hobbits.
They're the country bumpkin versions.
But yeah, they couldn't actually say hobbits in this particular case.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Just make it like
this also shows,
difference between the wealthy and the have-nots.
Well, this is also showing how detailed the lawyers went through this with a fine-tooth comb to say what can we legally do and what can we legally not do. I mean, they went through this hardcore. And no problem. Like I said, geek for 40 years here. The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Rankin Bass Hobbit, by the way, just pointing that out. Yeah, so like I said, hobbits wouldn't have given two shits. They would not have ventured out and dealt with anything like this.
Yeah. There is no such thing as chance. Not in this world. Nothing is random.
Yeah.
By the way, interesting. Since we do watch with the captions on in order to minimize the amount of volume that you hear over the microphones, apparently they referred to him as the Stranger. Okay. So they didn't give a name.
Not yet, anyway. I guess probably in due time they will.
Right.
By the way, Anthony, that's for you, by the way, this comment right here. My first ever movie credit. I spent 12 years in the film industry. Technically, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring Extended Cut is my first ever movie credit. So, there you go. Je suis un nerd. My wife, when I came down here, asked me to actually play the Leonard Nimoy, the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins, before I went downstairs. Which I can actually sing.
So now we're back with Bronwyn and Arondir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. And Dead Animal of some sort.
I'm just going to call him Aaron.
That's fine. Or just call him Din.
No.
You want to go with
Aaron feels right.
All right.
Like Aaron.
Yeah.
Because literally, if they're booking it.
So you got Aaron and you got Aaron and Braun. Then is what you're saying.
Oof. So what ground creatures are there?
It could be trolls. It might lead him to dwarves. We haven't had. I don't know what to call it. We'll just call it Black Lady Drew.
God damn it!
What?
I wanted to kiss.
No, they're building that up.
Oh. It's like all comfortability with my own masculinity and everything, but Aaron's got some hella eyes.
Here's okay. Here's the funny thing I'll say about this also. Could be actually fair. Could be goblins, could be orcs too. Could be Balrog. Who knows? Balrog could exist in that if it ends up in Moria. Here's the difference, I think, between this one and, again, going back to it, beating the dead horse, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. What you're seeing now is 2022 technology. What you saw then was 2001 to 2003 technology. So this is a little bit below, I would almost say, some of the Peter Jackson stuff, but 20 years after the fact. I mean, it's okay. But when you compare to what technology is now and what you see with, some of the MCU stuff, like, obviously, the movies that are involved there, you see the stuff with Game of Thrones. This looks Witcher. This looks generic. Sea creatures. Let me think about this. What was the one in Fellowship that attacked Frodo? Speak friend and enter when they will try to get into Moria. That's possible. Drawing a blank on that octopus thing in the name.
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know.
I know enough to get me through.
Yeah,
but don't put me in any trivia competitions.
I'm above average for the average geek, but I'm not at pure Lord of the Rings geek level. Okay, so there you go. The hammer was included. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, no, they were. Oh. So this will be the forge that creates the rings.
It could be. Yes, I heard something that they were going to tie that together. Yeah, the ultimately, I believe, 10 rings. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to bind them. 1 ring to bring them all. And the darkness bind them.
Oh, God.
And that was the ring that Sauron created privately. So that might, again, tie in. I would theorize that they're going to tie this into that war, and a Isildur tying it.
So this is how the dwarves come into it. They're going to be hired cheap labor.
Yeah, see, the cave of Khazad-dûm was mentioned heavily in Fellowship.
The king inside the mountain.
Nice. 1 forge to 3D print them all. Like I said, that's my point. All this stuff is 2020s technology here. So it loses, I feel, a little bit because with the literal $60 million per episode, I mean, honestly, this should blow your eyes right out of your head. And it doesn't. Fellowship of the Ring was created with, granted 2000 inflation was $93 million for that entire movie. So you double that for inflation being what it is. You're looking at 186 million. That's the equivalent of 3 episodes here. So it's about time-wise, about average, about the same.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, see, here's the thing: the long-standing
Oh,
rivalry.
nobody see Prince Durin. No way, no how.
Well, elves and dwarves have hated each other for millennia, so that might be tied into here somehow. That's what made it so big when Legolas and Gimli became friends, because of the fact that an elf and a dwarf were fighting to willing to die for one another. So.
Yeah, but obviously Elrond had like a connect that isn't working out.
It does. It feels somewhat like the movies, but at the same time, kind of feels no frills. It feels.
Ooh.
I'm going to get shot for what I'm going to say here, but I almost feel it feels like cheap by comparison. It doesn't engross you. It just feels like a thing. Now, see, there should be a bigger height difference between the dwarves and the elves there.
Well, maybe these are the special ones. That's why they're the guards.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying they're the tall dwarves?
Yes. You always get the bigger guys to guard the door.
All right. So basically, what you're saying is that eventually, at some point, you're going to get dwarves that are going to come up to the chest of an elf.
Plus, look at those helmets. Those are some tall ass helmets.
Yeah, that's true. You're compensating for something.
I'd say the whole place is compensating for something. Look at that.
Well, see, this is the Mines of Moria. This eventually becomes the battle with the Balrog.
Well, that's the thing. It's weird seeing it now that it has like light and color as opposed to when we first saw it. Before it got all dead.
Well, again, this is a prequel in that regard.
Yeah, no,
You're finally seeing what
Look at the way the light is just coming down off the water. Look at the people looking like, oh, he's a tall one.
Yeah, exactly. What are they doing here? Are they pissed at him?
No, he invoked something in order to get himself in there, so I'm guessing it's probably like a challenge.
Is this like an Arsenio Hall, like, kind of thing?
Is that Durin?
I believe so.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Exactly. A dwarf.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say the Mines of Moria before they were like,
Yes.
Fly, you fools.
When they had a fresh coat of paint on it.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point between then and now, the Balrog come in, wipe the fuck out of everybody that's here. Although actually, was it Balin after the Hobbit that came here? I'm trying to remember. Balin and Dwalin? I forget. Oh, I know Lord of the Rings better than I know the Hobbit. I'm gonna go back and read them.
Oh, these guys are so Irish. For a couple that are supposed to be friends, they're kind of salty to one another.
Yeah. Well, Elrond in Lord of the Rings was never a big fan of the dwarves either. They only care about their gold. They care nothing about the outside world. I have nearly finished an entire bottle of
what, the test is rock smashing?
I guess so. A test of strength.
I could do that in Mortal Kombat.
Test your might.
Like, sure, it's easy when you have a hammer.
Is he going to explode into like 1,000 pieces? Oh, there we go.
And I mean, it wasn't a clean cut compared to the other one, but he got there.
I don't know. As soon as he cut it, it went to a different scene.
It split. You saw it split.
Dude, you got to stay on that a little bit longer than you did. What the fuck was up with the editing on that? That was terrible. It's like, and move up. You got to relish the moment. You got to show some energy
Man.
to show that he was able to defeat Durham that way. But you were just like, cut, move on. I don't know who edited that, but they should be fired. That was terrible. You had no chance to really, like I said, grow into that.
This is like Stranger Things trying to deal with 11 in the first season.
No, I was going to say this is Jurassic Park Dominion. When a dinosaur attacks, you'll hold your hand up.
Yeah.
How that works.
Stop, Blue. Stop.
And not just Blue, who was raised from birth to be able to understand hand signals, but it works for a T-Rex also. Now, see, this is finally the height difference I was talking about, but
he's a mountain of a man. Not well fed, but he's up there.
He has more of a Gandalf look.
Yeah, but the shabbiness, he'll fit in with the Harfoots.
Nah. Lighting will fit in with GOT season 8. Okay.
That's sign language?
I don't know. Maybe. HSL? Full-foot sign language on ASL?
Oh, this is cute. This is like every time you see like a kid dealing with an alien in an 80s movie.
Well, Gandalf forgot who he was when he died and was reborn as Gandalf the White.
Pigberry. I'd eat it.
Now, see, that even
doesn't sound good, but
the size comparison doesn't even look that solid. Disappointed. And I so don't want to eat something like that. 12 levels of ew.
Dude, clean your fingernails first.
Dude, really?
My God.
I hope he's wearing pants. Because that dick is like directed an eye line to her.
I don't think they gave him pants. I don't think they stole it.
So
I think they stole the wrap, and that was it.
That dick is eye level right there, which is what you're saying.
Is he crunching on the shells?
Guess so. Largo, Key Largo, Montego. Yeah, I don't know.
Daughter, where are you? Hopefully you're not with some strange older man.
Exactly. Who's like twice your height. I mean, again, I don't feel like really like dying to know who this guy is. He's just some dude.
Some very powerful dude who survived impact.
I mean, again, I guess he's part of the Maiar. I mean, was he Gandalf? I don't know. No.
Oh, don't tell me he's going to draw the E too.
Probably, yes. That's my guess. Uh-oh. I hope he can hold it.
Oh! Oh!
Okay, I did not expect it to go in that direction.
Urimana. What's...
Yeah, Pilar of the Maiar.
Mana. Urimana. Uri. I said I want waffle fries.
And now busted.
Oh, he does have pants.
Well, that's better. Now I feel
More
better
or
about
less.
that.
Can't tell if it's pants or a skirt.
Either way, it's not a dick hanging out. I'll take what I can get.
That was a nasty twist. What are you talking about? We saw it.
Dude, no joke. First time I sprained my ankle, it was on wet grass just like that.
Oh. I think you can take that comment down.
Damn it, I did it again. Sorry.
Like, I ain't the type to gossip. Dang. Oh, all right.
I don't know nothing. So yeah, as long yeah, this is designed to still be kid friendly. So, giant Maiar penises, I guess, are not going to be tied to this whole thing. Oh yeah, by the way, still swimming. Kind of forgot about this. It's been so long. What's that?
She's got great stamina.
Dude. Okay, we are 27 minutes into this, and we have gone more than 20 minutes, and I personally completely forgot that Galadriel was swimming here.
Wait, what part did you forget?
That she was swimming here.
What? I mean, she was swimming. What are you going to do?
I know, but it's been like 20 minutes since we saw her.
Now, what's that?
Galadriel Phelps. Oh. Okay.
It's like a raft of the damned. Okay, that's definitely done in a pool. Looks like something out of the Baron Munchausen movie.
And not like done in a pool like they did with Titanic, which they literally put them in 40-degree temperatures, including the background actors too.
Pull her up. God.
Yeah, they finally did.
Oh, good. Water I can drink.
We're going to need a bigger raft. Yeah, that is kind of a very makeshift.
This must have been what Tyler was talking about earlier.
What's that? I forget.
He was mentioning stuff about the raft earlier.
Yes,
Tyler, you got to keep pace with us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're almost halfway through this episode, though.
Yeah, we are officially at 28 minutes and 45 seconds.
So, including credits, we're pretty close to halfway.
I mean, she does have a dagger.
Exactly. She's dangerous. He let her move her hair, and then it was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, get your hand off me." The Corsairs. Okay.
Corsairs?
Yes. Okay, that makes some sense.
Like
I don't know where that ties into this, but when in Return of the King, I mentioned this before, the Army of the Dead, they fought the Corsairs in that battle.
Oh, okay.
Additional fun fact, Peter Jackson's cameo in Return of the King was as a Corsair. In the extended cut, Legolas inadvertently shoots him.
Oh, that's okay.
Kablush? We're getting tipped over?
Yeah, this is where Tyler was talking about with Jaws and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
More like the Meg by the look of it.
Fucking elf.
I think the elf brought it with her. Boom. If she had control over that thing, you think she'd be swimming on her own power? No. But that is a whale of a whale.
So, boat, raft, flotation device.
Oh, it's definitely a raft. It's not a boat.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying he didn't know what he wanted to do. This is going to sound weird, but I give this show credit. They could easily show Galadriel nipples here, but they didn't. With that kind of stuff, you would imagine basically there would be some pert nipples going on. And I'm glad that they kind of
she's well wrapped up still.
Yeah, I know, but I like the fact that they kept it kid friendly, if that makes any sense.
Respectable.
Okay, cool. We're learning some shit here.
Plesiosaurus.
So
I don't know if it's Plesiosaurus. It looks a little bit too small to be Plesiosaurus. Plus, I don't think they had dinosaurs back then. Or not back then, but like in this
is
environment.
Middle Earth. You don't know. First age, maybe second age.
Yeah, but it's not Jurassic Middle Earth.
I guess maybe the beginning of second age.
One lone survivor.
God, it's 11 o'clock already. Dude.
How is that one little bit still afloat?
And you got like one dude there. Hey, how you doing? I'm a good looking guy. Hey, what's going on? Do you live around here often? What's a girl like you doing?
What stroke do you use?
So, Jurassic Park joke, yeah. Plesiosaurus.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay. I didn't even see that. I'm dumb as crap. I don't know. Remember when Jurassic Park has like, oh my god, the Tyrannosaurus is huge. Now by Jurassic Park 6, it's like the Jurassic Park, the Tyrannosaurus is like middle lower at this point.
Halbrand.
Oh, we're back to this again.
They're just going stone for stone.
Yeah.
See, some people would just take shots, but no, not these guys.
I would hope they have a lot of stones because you really have to go through a lot for these kind of scenes.
I mean, they live in a mountain. I'm sure they got plenty.
Yeah, but to find the stones that are perfectly round like that. Summon his power. Can he do it? Does he have the stamina? Can we find out? Man.
Oh. He woke
up. You failed.
Hey, that's not even fair. The hammer broke. There you go.
Oh, there we go. That's actually kind of
you
nice.
can't blame it on the tool.
Yeah, so there's a poor craftsman that blames his tools.
Come on. Oh. He submits.
Oh! But yet they work together anyway. Huh. Bark, bark, bark.
Oh.
GTFO. But he's probably going to use that as a time, I guess, to connect with him and come back.
Yeah, last ditch effort.
Yeah.
Yep, we got an elevator.
That's funny because this Elrond later on becomes one who's just very disenamored with dwarves.
He's just being petty.
Yeah. Jerk.
Ooh.
Yeah, again, Elrond did not like dwarves. So this kind of contradicts, at least to some degree, that aspect of things.
Or this is the thing that finally puts him over the edge.
But see, in this case, you realize he's a douchebag.
It's but just because someone recognizes they're a douchebag doesn't stop them from becoming a douchebag later on.
But it wouldn't set him against the dwarves. Oh, that's good. 20 years after the fact. Congratulations. It's like, dude,
Well,
my
it's
kids are fucking
obvious
college.
Durin's hurting. He just wanted the recognition from his
20
friends.
years after the fact, a half-assed apology. It's like, we apologize for any inconvenience. Is Disa the other dwarf lady?
Durin's such a soft touch, man. It's like,
oh, there we go. Our dwarf. All right, I'm just going to throw this right out there now as we have the other dwarf lady. All dwarves, including females, have beards. And to the point that it confuses a lot of people because they can't tell dwarf men from dwarf women. Gimli explained this in the Two Towers, that it's hard to tell them apart because even the dwarf women have beards. So, Elrond is probably about 6'4" by my guess, give or take, because that's about the average height for an elf. He could be about 6 foot if he's a little bit shorter. Dwarves are just naturally short. So, yeah, the height difference is probably proper in this particular case. So all of the hype about the first, black female dwarf that I've been hearing so much about, and she just gets knocked up and has kids. Please tell me that for all of the hype for this character, she's not just like barefoot and pregnant, and that's her entire, contribution to the series. You see, it's leading too much to CGI. You can tell that it doesn't look like they're close to each other. It looks like they're too far apart.
Does it?
Yes, to me it did. Elrond and Mrs. Durin, I forget her name. Yeah, like I said, it was very clearly stated that all dwarves, men and women, have beards. So that's
okay. But here's the thing:
that's a little.
If you tried to show that to your standard layperson,
yeah, I know, but it was actually kind of a joke in the second movie that made Eowyn laugh. It's like, the fact that they look so much alike that people just assume that dwarves just sprout out of the ground.
Well, I mean, some of the women that were there during the competition looked a little haggard, so who knows?
But I mean, again, I'm not being that guy here. But again, my question.
Then again, don't forget, this is also the one that's hooked up with the prince. So maybe she's done up just a little bit nicer than the others.
But here's my other point, though. They built up that character, that female dwarf, so much. They put so much time, so much effort, so much energy into promoting that character. And what has she done, at least so far? She gets knocked up and has a couple of kids. I was expecting her to be some warrior badass here. Be canceled if you give a black woman a beard. I've seen black women with beards, I just got rid of black. Oh, it's kind of weird. It's
being the voice of reason between these two kind of has like a weight in itself.
Dude, I just shaved this yesterday. I know you know what I look like with facial hair. This is weird for me, man. I see how I look right here, and I'm like, I do not look right here. This is not natural. Okay, now we're talking about trees. Again, there's just people just talking. We are almost 2/3 of the way through this episode. Forgetting credits for a second.
Aww.
And it's just people talking to people. I mean, at what point are you going to be
talking to dwarves in their home in the mountain?
Yeah. At what point are you going to be done?
Like it seems. I mean, don't far be it for me to knock on you, Scott, but it feels like you're kind of like minimizing the impact of what we're seeing.
You know what it is? Because I'm not seeing much of anything. I'm just seeing characters talking to characters. I was expecting and maybe hoping for a little bit more. And now Now you are almost at this point you're probably about 1/5 of the way through your entire first season. And you've had like one small troll action scene here. I'm not saying you got to go like action crazy like a Michael Bay film here, but you've had so much character development that I almost feel like you're losing a little bit something here. I mean, like, okay, who is this attractive white dude?
I guess we'll find out. That little crest means something.
You know, is this Elendriel? I don't know. I mean, probably wouldn't be. I wouldn't think, but very happy with the face, and that's okay. I have no problem with that. I am okay with people disagreeing with me. I have no problem with that. Just stay respectful and try not to call me an asshole if you can help it. That's all I ask. I mean, look, it's not bad, but I keep looking at this from the $715 million that Amazon spent for the season. And I'm like, where did the money go here? I keep looking at the $750 million, which is probably not coming out of their profit, but may very well come out of Amazon raising prices on certain things if this does not go well. Listen, asshole. Cancel Scott. No, but I mean, my point is on this, like I said, the amount of money that was spent on this, I was expecting something that would be like, holy shit, this is awesome. But it's just people talking. You know, maybe later on they're going to see some action scenes that are going to be like, you know, the Battle of Pelennor in like Return of the King. You know, I mean, hell, even Battle of Five Armies in the Hobbit movie, which I try to look at the books more than the movie. It just feels slow. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay open-minded with this. I really, 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 really am. It's not bad, but it's not $715 million good so far. And that's my problem. You know, that money does not come out of their profits. That money comes out of the public that uses Amazon Prime.
Fight! Kiss or fight!
No, it's like, dude, you know, you got bickering. It's like, is this going to be some kind of a romance that's happening here?
Again, there's no chance encounters.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, she ends up married to Celeborn. I mean, this is not going to be, if it stays to the storyline, you know, something that's going to clearly work out.
No, but the fact that his kingdom was, you know, fucked up by orcs, and that's what she's looking for.
Mm. Like I said, I'm sorry. It just feels average. And I think maybe because of the fact we've had Game of Thrones, we've had House of the Dragon, we've had The Witcher, we've had so many different things that this just feels like on par to pretty much all of it. You know, pace feels necessary to some degree. Yeah, I get that. But there was just something that was captivating, at least to me, to how Peter Jackson developed Lord of the Rings and developed Fellowship.
To be fair, Lord of the Rings was also in the throes of war.
Not at that point, not in the very beginning, because all that stuff centered around Hobbiton. It centered around Bilbo's birthday party. So you had this buildup where the birthday party was happening. He was planning something. He was up to something. You didn't know what it was, but it kept you intrigued anyway. As you have all of the, you know, the Bagginses and the, you know, the Proudfoots, you know, and the Tooks.
But see, here's the thing. It could be argued that it was still at the beginning of the war. It still was at the start of the throes. Because the minute that ring came out and Sauron saw what was going on, you were in the thick of it. Here, they haven't gotten to the enemy yet.
But I think what helped Peter Jackson versus this is that you started out with an action scene right in the beginning to show the storyline and show where ultimately the three movies were going to go, which was going to end with Sauron. It showed the battle, you know, basically with the One Ring itself. cutting off the ring off of Sauron's finger, Isildur not throwing the ring into the fires of Mount Doom, Elrond being there to watch this. So you knew at the end of this trilogy where this ultimately have to go. And this was the strength that I found with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar: The Last Airbender, from episode 1, you knew where that had to go. Here, and I think that lack of clarity makes this a little confusing and a little disjointed.
Ooh, what's he gonna find?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then we got this dude. I remember him.
Oh, that is not a mice.
I recognize him from before, but I have no idea what his name is.
That's Bronwyn's son.
Is that who that is? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one who found the sword underneath the barn there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. But like I said, I think with so many moving parts, I'm struggling to stay intact. Could be the dyslexia. I'm not sure. But in my case, like I said, I'm struggling to keep tabs on everything that's happening right now and who has what story arc.
Really?
Yeah, very much so.
Huh.
Yeah. I remember this dude, he was looking in the cave for something.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron Deer.
Aaron Deer, but I'm calling him Aaron.
That's
he
fine.
looks more like an Aaron.
All right, Aaron and Dan, Game Grumps. But
Aaron Deer, Aaron Dan.
There you go. So, yeah,
it's easy to remember once you figure out the phonics of it.
And listen, my challenge is a strength and weakness kind of thing. I'm not. Some other people could grasp this faster than I can. It's just how I am. C'est la vie. Run with it. But we might have something here.
Now we're getting into like aliens.
Yeah, I was gonna say some kind of a spider sesh.
It's right behind you, Ripley.
She lobs her.
Oh, even the rats are like, nope, I'm getting out of this. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, is the black guy going to die first?
No. I think we're kind of past the era of black guy or fat guy dies. Well, no, fat guy dies first. That still exists. Black guy dies first. I don't think it does anymore. Yeah. This feels strangely like, Indiana Jones in Last Crusade when he finds like King Richard's shield.
I was going to say more Princess Bride considering the vermin of unusual side or rodents of unusual side.
Again, also sword master of that was Bob Alexander, who did the Lord of the Rings series and the fights choreography.
Oh, damn, I didn't expect that.
Whoopsie. Okay, what's her character's name?
Bronwyn's like, I'm just getting away from all those people.
Okay, Bronwyn.
Judging me.
I know Bronwyn.
And who fucked up my house?
Yeah, really?
Boy, I swear to God, if you did it, I'm going to smack you.
Knock you clear into next Tuesday.
Oh, God.
Theo.
This is usually the problem with like basic names. It's like I'm going to refer it back to something.
Oh, cleavage.
I hear Theo and I'm like thinking Cosby Show.
Thank you. So did I. I literally did. Yeah, Theo Huxtable. Malcolm Jamal.
Now, Theo, what did you do to our house? And don't tell me you was a big rat.
I always
coming after the pudding.
Dude, I always wonder what the cast of the Cosby Show thought after like the patriarch of their show, beloved guy that he was, Bill Cosby. It's like, Jeffrey Owens, Shia LaBeouf. No, not Shia LaBeouf. I forget all the rest of the characters. How they must feel about the Cosby Show at this point, because it gave them their career, but by the same token, ... Anyway, raspy breathing.
I got panting.
I got raspy breathing. Bones.
Oh, now I got the raspy breathing. Okay.
Hey.
Okay, that's definitely orc goblin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this that thing from Moon Knight?
No, it definitely looks like one of the things that they were like birthed in that mud pit, and then they decorate them with bone.
Put your spoon in the pudding, Indiana pudding.
Oh,
You know, it's funny when you
where'd
watch
he
like
go?
old Family Guy clips of Bill Cosby, knowing what you know like years later.
Pokemon, Pokemon
Hey,
with
Pokemon, and the Jello pudding and the Leonard Part 6. Oh God, we're laughing about a rapist.
Oh, okay, it's just scrounging around.
11:20 at night, and I've had an entire bottle
No,
of
no,
wine.
no, 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 no.
And yep.
Oh,
Dude, that kind of looks like Moon Knight's character, you know?
oh, Theo tried.
Yeah. Hey, it's all right. That could be an orc.
I hope so. It's ugly enough to be one.
Finally, we're getting some action in this thing. Not
Oh,
great. And that ends that. Ooh.
oh, this is pure monster movie right here. Feels like something out of Wrong Turn.
Nice move. Nice move.
Keep your distance, kid. Keep your distance. Ah, nope.
It almost feels like these fight scenes are.
People need to buy more new shit. Seriously, they rely on this old stuff that just sits around in the cabin.
You know, it almost feels like these.
Oh,
Ooh. It almost feels in some ways like these fight scenes were forced in some ways to be like, you know, we need a fight scene. Let's throw one in.
they're like, shit. All right.
Yeah. And moving on very quickly from the impact of that scene, and fuck that, we got to move on to basically do some water stuff. Yeah, like I said, this is one of the problems.
It's not a boat, it's a raft.
This is one of the complaints that I heard from people who got the early screenings, is that the cuts between scenes were way too quick. So the emotional impact that you have gets lost because the emotions are immediately like flipped to bam, now we're into Galadriel on the raft. You know, we saw this with the feats of strength, I guess we'll call it. Free Willy. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, no, if the fish shows up again. She said bind yourself. Now look what happened.
We have 13 and a half minutes left in this, by the way, for episode 2. I just want to point that out. Wilson, I'm sorry, Wilson. Oh God,
Wilson's supposed to be able to float.
Yeah. You know, they never really.
Come on, Halbrand, come on. You know you're gonna get it.
What's that?
It's like you know he's gonna die for her, but
Blorp.
Yep, there you go. Now, see, the thing is, how are elves in water?
I don't know if they breathe like average humans do. I'm not sure. But again, this is a species that's so far above and beyond humans that they should not have a problem in a situation like this. Again, their eyesight is so much beyond humans. Their thought process is so far beyond humans. You know,
yeah, but even then, if you still get knocked out and you're being dragged into water, I'd have to wonder just what your breathing capacity is.
I don't know. Good question.
See, the thing is, I don't mind the quick cuts. Maybe it's because I'm, from a generational standpoint, I'm all about quick cuts because of the movies that we see and because of TikTok and because there's that attention span issue that people seem to have with like younger audiences. And considering some of the stuff is a little bit more long in the tooth, a little bit more slow and cinematic, you need those quick cuts in order just to keep things going. Well, it's kind of like a trade-off with the long talking.
I see your point there, and I get that, and you're right here, but I think that's an editing problem because all of it is slow, bam, slow, bam, and that's where I think part of the issue is that you have all of this buildup, and then you have an action scene, and you move on immediately, and you haven't had the chance to psychologically, emotionally develop a connection to what just happened in that scene. I mean, she chopped off, we'll say a goblin, and you're probably right, a goblin's head. And it's like, here's the head. Okay, moving on to the next scene. You hadn't had the chance to sit there and be like, and really just absorb what just happened. It's like, we can't absorb this. We got to move on to basically Galadriel and the raft. And I think that hurts this a lot because it doesn't have that emotional moment to be like, damn, okay, that shit just happened. Now, from what I'm looking at as far as breathing goes, according to Tolkien, basically whatever you can do, they can do better. So breathing would probably be part of that. Whatever you can do, they can do better. They can do anything better than you.
Oh, maybe it is Gandalf.
It's my working theory.
The way he's talking to the fireflies is pretty similar to when he was talking to, a butterfly or a moth?
A butterfly in Fellowship. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. I don't know. I mean, if they call him Mythland, he might be a Mythlander here. I mean, he had a bunch of different names too.
But I would imagine maybe something like this is something that any of the wizards can do, right? I'm sure Radagast could do it too.
Radagast can do it. I mean, any of the Maiar can do it. Any of the Valar can do it.
Yeah, so it may not be Gandalf specifically, but he may be one of those wizards.
Yeah. I mean, any of the Valinor could have pulled this off, so. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And maybe it's a brand new character. At this point, I'm not sure. On the very Gandalf wagon, it would make the most sense that this would in fact be Gandalf. I mean, when he died fighting the Balrog and brought back, he was not a way unsimilar to what you see here. Radagast was much smaller. By the way, fun fact, Radagast in that movie was played by Sylvester McCoy, who was also the Seventh Doctor in Doctor Who. Just felt like mentioning that.
Yeah, we're Whovians too. We got nerd stuff everywhere.
Hell yeah, proud of it, man. Dude, I was a nerd in the era where you got the shit kicked out of you for being a nerd. I got into anime in 1992, and dude, I got my head slammed into lockers for that shit. It's like, why are you watching Japanese cartoons, you freaking piece of shit?
Oh, wow. They all clocked out.
Mm.
Oh, see, and he looked sad. It's like he knows something's coming.
Hell yeah. Blessed are the geeks, for they shall inherit the earth, man. It's weird for me in some ways. Because I like my individuality about being like a comic book geek back in the early 90s. Now it's so mainstream that I feel like I've lost a little of my identity that way. So, anyway, back to this, as we have like 10 minutes left at the best.
That crown, though.
Another Durin, I guess, but yeah.
That almost looks like Gandalf.
In some ways, yeah.
The hair and the nose. But that crown there, that's the same crown that the witches had, right? The ones that were chasing Frodo once he had the ring.
It could be one of the Nazgul, future Nazgul. If he was given one of the 9 rings and it turned him, yes, it's possible. You might have a good call on that.
Well, no, I thought those were just the old kings of man.
It could be
that had been converted and corrupted.
3 rings were given to the dwarves.
Right, but there was like 10 given to man, wasn't it?
No, 3. 3 to the elves, 3 to man, 3 to the dwarves, and then 1 ring to rule them all.
But I thought there was 20 rings, not 10.
No, I think it was 10 rings.
Oh, all right. Oh, Look at the blood being drawn to the sword.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I'm
Theo's
sorry.
fucked. I'm saying it right now. Theo is fucked.
You know what? Oh my god, I just look like an idiot here. There was 20 rings. Oh my god. Yeah, 9 were given to the elves, 7 to the dwarves, and then yeah. Oh god, I'm an idiot. I have shamed myself greatly here.
I'm ready with my flaming sword that just grew out of nowhere.
Flames of Odin!
Where is he even hiding it?
Why are we leaving now? By the way, what's happening here?
They're heading to the watchtower.
Okay.
Because they're getting the fuck out of Dodge because they know that there was orcs there.
Isn't Watchtower like that pamphlet from like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Maybe.
Mm.
I've never actually seen one face up.
They usually leave them in my mailbox a lot.
Ah, Salvation.
Hey, that guy. I'm sure that doesn't look ominous. Explore bonus content. I just got a pop up at the bottom for explore bonus content. So I guess we're about ready to hit credits, and there we go.
What is bonus content trailer for next week?
I guess maybe a preview, sneak preview, deleted scenes behind the scenes. Is it over the water?
Oh yeah, there's a season preview that just came up after the credits. Coming this season.
Yep. All right.
That's a big ass boat. On the Lord of Rings, the Rings of Power. More characters.
Yeah, exactly.
More settings.
Yeah, take notes on who these characters are because you're going to need to fall back to that at some point.
Well, that was a coffin.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I'll give it credit. We've been at this for 3 hours on this watch party.
Cinematography on this
sort of doesn't feel like
boss.
It, right? 2 actors from Spartacus. Okay. Ooh. I'm Spartacus. That's not bad. A scene right there. Not great, but not bad.
There's a Balrog.
There's Balrog. Okay. Makes sense, basically, if he ends up in Moria. Scene we saw from the trailers 1,000 times. And that scene we literally just saw at the end of the second episode is a preview for a future episode. That makes sense to me. Sure, why the fuck not?
I liked it.
All right, Ryan. So I'm going to let you roll first because basically you're a little more flexible than I am, and I am, shall we say, definitively more of a Tolkien nerd than you are. So I'm going to let you roll first before I get into mine.
Okay, fair. As far as the second episode goes, I can definitely see that it picked up a bit from the first episode. There was definitely a little bit more characterization, a little bit more humor, which is always good for stuff like this because I think, like, even just looking at the title screen here, where it details the episodes, the importance, I think, is really stressed here. This is more of a drama. This is more adventure fantasy, not so much action. And so with that, you have to have the caveat that there is going to be a lot more talking, a lot more exploring, a lot more just living in this world rather than the combatant stuff that you would expect, as we've seen with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So in that respect, I do like the way it's starting off. again, yes, slow. It is slow, but you're getting everything you're going to need for later. I like the idea that they're giving just enough that you can see where things are going to expand and what you can explore with this first season. So, in that respect, I will say the acting is very well done. Some of the characters, based upon the characters that we've seen in the films, they have their characterization nailed. Others, I think, still remains to be seen. I really want to see whether they're going to go with Nori and Poppy, if that's just going to be our Frodo Samwise surrogates, or if they're really going to go ahead and do something else with them. And obviously, the stranger, we don't know what wizard it is, but he's got some wizard stuff going on. I think the most interesting is probably going to be Aaron and Bronwyn. Only because not only do you have like the romance aspect that's going to be going on with this, but I think that's going to be the part that gets the most amount of action. That's going to be your boots on the ground, sort of like, wartime fighting. So you're going to have the romance, you're going to have the action, you're going to have some fantasy aspect, but it's probably going to be the most grounded of the separate storylines that we have going on here. So I think more people are going to be able to relate to that than to probably some of the other stuff. The Galadriel stuff, I'll admit, it does seem a little choppy because we all know what her end game is, and it's just a matter of getting there. The others, we don't really know what their end game is. So it's the journey of trying to find out how and what they want. Whereas Galadriel, I think, is probably the most two-dimensional out of everybody here. Everyone else has a little bit more layer
Elrond
and
to a
depth.
degree also. You know what happens with Elrond too, so.
Yes, but the thing with Elrond is you already know how he ends up. We know he's pretty much a stickler, a stick in the mud even. Here we're seeing a softer side of him. We are seeing a part of him that has compassion and that has some sort of, a manner of respect. So I almost want to see how he goes from that to the Hugo Weaving version that we get. I almost have to feel like something bad happens between him and Durin.
Something would have to, because again, he does not like the dwarves. He has, for lack of a better description, disdain for the dwarves.
Right.
So that will have to be forced at some point if they decide to do it with this series. Sorry, go ahead.
Which I want to believe that they do, because there's enough here that could say that this really does tie into what we've already seen. And it's not like just going to take things in a completely different departure from what we saw in the Hobbit trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I do believe that this could feasibly lead into that. It's just a matter of uncovering the mysteries now of these characters and their individual journeys.
Yeah.
You seem so against everything I just said.
I hate this. This is like the worst phraseology I can come up with. And, you have bad things, you have good things. This to me feels very average. I think if this had come out earlier, only time will tell. Yeah, that's fair. Who knows? We're only a quarter of the way through the series, so there's still 6 episodes left. But so far, to me, it feels very run of the mill. Nothing is like grabbing me. Nothing is like, holy shit, this was freaking awesome. It's just like, okay, we got this over here, we got this over here. And to me, it feels like, okay, so where did this $250 million buying rights go? This, $60 million an episode, which comes out to be $1 million a minute, pretty much, more or less average, maybe just a little bit under $1 million a minute in filmmaking here. Where did this go? I mean, if something like this came out, say in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, maybe we might be looking at this a little differently. But look at the stuff that's out like right now in the fantasy realm. You had Game of Thrones, you have House of the Dragon now, you have The Witcher, you have so many things that are on par with this for less money. And for me, I kind of looked like Inflation is a bitch. Yeah, it's a fair point. In this case, Anthony's also like, he feels like it earned the budget. I feel like it didn't. I feel like it's just very generic. I don't feel blown away. I figured, again, 60 million. Here's the thing. Working in the film industry right now, I know where money goes. I know how things operate. And I know what the level of expectation, monetarily speaking, is from 12 years in the industry. I'm looking at 60 some odd $1 million an episode here, $1 million a minute. I'm like, the fuck did you spend that money on? It doesn't really, just like I said, just massively grab me. I was on set last night until 3+ o'clock in the morning for a Hulu Disney series, musical comedy, all this kind of stuff. They're peeing money all over the place right now, but the quality is there. Here I'm looking at this and it almost feels like they were disorganized maybe from the beginning and couldn't figure out what to do and hit golden time a shit ton number of times, which caused a lot of the issues that are there. Again, I've been in the film industry since 2010, so I see things from a dollar standpoint that maybe the average person doesn't. And I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, where the blazes did the money go? This does not blow me away like some things can. I mean, listen, I spent 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it was, on Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman. I saw where that money went. This is not Greatest Showman.
Okay. I understand your gripe. I will say this. What we're looking at here, think of it like this. Instead of thinking this as like a singular series, try to think of it as 3 different series or 4 different series combining into one. Almost like, those kinds of movies where it's pretty much just like, a bunch of different stories compiled. This pretty much has that same route, similar to Game of Thrones, where you have a bunch of different branching stories that all will eventually culminate, but for right now, they're off in their separate paths. Kind of like the branches of a tree, if you want to get symbolic with what they've done here. Because of that, and because you have all this going on, and none of these people are interacting really with anyone else except for Elrond and Galadriel, you have to pretty much take that setting, that crew, those actors, and just put them in their own little bubble aside. So it's almost like they've got like 4 TV series running at the same time. If you think of it like that, and then you divide that budget by 4.
And I did 3 years on Boardwalk Empire. I saw concurrent storylines. I was there
but it was all centered in like this,
the boardwalk.
in the boardwalk of AC. It's not like one's in the mountain, one's in the forest, one's in... Well, thank you for being with us, Anthony, and we will definitely see you next week when episode 3 drops. But my point is, if you go ahead and you separate everything into its own little like microcosm, you know how there's like first unit, second unit, that sort of thing. Instead of thinking of like first unit, second unit, just think of each storyline as like its own individual unit, its own individual film. And I'm sure a lot of production, a lot of people in front of the camera, a lot of people behind the camera, a lot of people taking care of the sets, a lot of people scouting the locations, a lot of people just doing the CGI necessary either for the backgrounds or any special effects. Probably need their own devoted teams. They probably need that kind of devotion in order for everything to coexist within a certain time frame to be done.
You know what I think the best way to describe this to me personally? When Peter Jackson did the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it was a passion project. When Jeff Bezos did the Rings of Power series here, it was a profit project. I think that's the difference. It doesn't have that emotional energy to say, I really want to do this. Like I said, I spent months on, Boardwalk Empire. I spent years on Boardwalk Empire, but I spent months on Greatest Showman. I saw Hugh Jackman's personal passion for that project. I saw his energy. I saw his love. I saw his desire to make that musical. I am not seeing that energy here. And honestly, I'm surprised by that. I would have thought I would have seen that love here.
I think this is also coming off of the bat that the people that are creating this show, J.A. Boyega take out of the picture as a producer, but
Mhm.
the two that really conceptualized the idea, that got this thing greenlit, there's very little unknown about them.
Which is also another problem and concern that I have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we don't know their intention. We don't know their passion. It may be completely different. It may be somewhere along the same lines, but they just have a different point of view. This is something completely new. As I said from the beginning, this is brand new territory, and it should be taken with a grain of salt as such. I get that people will probably compare this to like The Witcher or Game of Thrones, but The Witcher also has its pros and cons. That thing plays more like Hercules and Xena than it does Game of Thrones or anything like that. And Game of Thrones, to their credit, they do have good production and everything, but they also rely on the salaciousness of their content. They rely on the blood, the gore, and the sex. Stuff that you don't necessarily see in the Lord of the Rings
but you don't
universe as
you don't
much.
necessarily need that though. That's their approach. That's what Game of Thrones is operating on. I get that.
Right.
But I mean, I'm looking. Here's the thing. I'm looking at the creator of Witcher, a woman named Lauren Schmidt. But prior to The Witcher, she did 10 episodes of Umbrella Academy, The Defenders, Daredevil, Power, Do No Harm, Parenthood, Private Practice. She had experience dating back to 2008. I'm looking at John Payne. I'm going to look at both of them. Rings of Power guy. I'm looking at IMDb right now. He has Flash Gordon as an earlier screenplay and Star Trek Beyond. The other guy right now in this particular case, can't even pull it up. Oh, that's interesting. The other guy right now, as far as basically his experience, there's nothing really there. I mean, John, the two creators of this thing don't have a ton of experience. The other guy right now, John Payne, these guys have like 1 or 2 IMDb credits and were handed the reins of a multi-million-dollar project. Sorry, pop-up ad popped up. He's got an upgraded screenplay for Flash Gordon. His IMDb, this entire IMDb for the co-creator of the series, Lord of the Rings, and an upcoming Flash Gordon. That is all he has. My IMDb, and at best, I am a Z-list celebrity at the very best that I can be. I bitch slap him right into next week with my IMDb ratings.
But again, take that with a grain of salt. Their pitch, their idea, their story must have blown people out of the water with what they have in their Bible for this show to have gotten the amount of money that they did.
And it feels very average. I'm sorry, it does not blow me away.
I see. Here's the thing. I don't see it as average. I see it as a different approach to fantasy, and it may not be as lightning quick or action packed or as eye popping as some stuff that we've gotten. But as far as a drama, as far as something to immerse yourself in, I get that vibe.
Let me ask you this. Do you think a show like this, no wrong answer, do you think a show like this can bring in new fans? Yes or no?
That's a tricky question. And I'm not saying that because it's, because when you talk about new fans, you've got to think about new fans to fantasy. And this is like old school.
It's all about the money. It's all about bringing new people in to pay for Amazon Prime.
Right. So you have to think about it. If you're trying to bring in new fans, if you're trying to bring in a new audience, who is that new audience going to be? Is it going to be the tried and true fans that have been here even before the Lord of the Rings movies came out in the early 90s, 2000s? No. You're doing this for a younger audience, possibly even a younger, mature audience who gets the high fantasy concept more so than just looking for the blood and sex
I don't
that you've
see.
gotten in Game of Thrones. This is almost counterculture to Game of Thrones in
And
that
listen,
sense.
I'm all about counterculture, 100%. But I don't see this bringing in the Amazon Prime profit, especially now with so many different options between Netflix, between Hulu, between HBO Max. You have so many different streaming options. I don't see this as being some kind of a cash cow for Amazon Prime. I don't. I just think it as a thing.
I wish I could agree with you, but
That's fine. That's fine.
I mean, needless to say, I'm intrigued. I would certainly keep watching.
I'm indifferent. I couldn't care less either way. And I tried. Listen, you know me. I tried. I really, 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 really tried.
I know you do. I know you do.
Lord of the Rings fan for 40 years here. I really gave it my all on this one.
And that's appreciated, I'm sure, but I just can't agree with you on this one.
And that's okay. Listen, that's all right. But like I said, I think at the end of the day, it just feels very ordinary. Again, I think maybe it's the problem is the fact that it came in the wrong time. If this came out 20 years ago, I think it would be different. But I think now there's so much.
If they tried to do this 20 years ago, I don't think anybody would have attempted it.
But see, my point being is that there's so much competition now between streaming services, cable, network television, gaming. I mean, geez, this is a $500 billion industry per year on average in general. You have to face all of that competition with this project. Can something like this beat Minecraft? For kids' time? I don't think it can.
Again, I'll have to refer to Anthony. Time will tell.
And
this is one of those things that you probably won't even
there.
be able to answer until episode 5 or 6.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, to me, and just speaking as a general fan of fantasy and not a Lord of the Rings fan, which I am, just as an average guy who came into this, it feels 6 out of 10. I'm not engrossed. I don't really care much about what happens with Gladriel and, good-looking white dude on Raft. I don't care what happens with Arondir and Bronwyn and the kids. It's just like, I'll read it on Wikipedia when it comes out.
Well,
I hate to say it. I want it to be proven wrong here. That maybe I came into this with the geek vibe, and I came into this with this almost elitist mentality, which I have toned down in the previous few days since we had our show on Tuesday, because I wanted to give this a fair shake and not be, an arrogant Lord of the Rings douchebag on this, and be someone who could be like, you know what, this is pretty good in its own right. And I tried to look at it as a non-Lord of the Rings series and just its own thing. And it's kind of like, I'll go watch Archer. Right now I'm watching reruns of Frasier. What's gonna burn up my time, which is limited as it is. So something's got to give. Yeah, exactly. So for me, what's going to give on my side? Is it going to be this, or is it going to be the limited amount of time when I'm sitting there watching like YouTube videos or Dragon Ball Z Abridged, or the fact that my wife, my mother-in-law, all the stuff I got to handle here. This does not basically tie into my, oh my God, I gotta watch this thing. I'm 10 times more interested in Cobra Kai season 5 next week. And I'm not even like as excited about season 5 of Cobra Kai like I was in season 4 or 3. My time is limited. This is not a good use of my time.
Well,
and that's okay. Listen, you can disagree. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. Believe me, it's okay.
Yeah. I almost feel like I'm the bad guy for liking it at this point,
No, don't be. No. You're not the bad guy for liking it. You're allowed to have an opinion. Please believe me. You are allowed to disagree here. But you are allowed to like it. There is nothing wrong with liking something. This is one of the biggest problems I have with society, where it's like, well, basically, we don't like this, so you can't like this either, or we like this, you have to like it. No, dude, individuals. Personal beliefs, personal attitude, personal opinions is what makes the world go round. If you like it, by God, fucking run with it, man. I will not blame you one iota on this. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Well, I guess I'll be leading this show too.
Let's see what happens here.
No, because at this point, I kind of feel like it's going to be like, dragging you through the mud to like make you watch this.
It's okay. Listen, honestly, I put a lot of time and effort into myself to make sure that I came into this open-minded and not the, like I said, Rankin Bass, Ralph Bakshi, Lord of the Rings from the 80s person that I was. Like I said, I was 7 or 8 years old in like 1983, 84. And I was all about Lord of the Rings then. So here we are, close to 40 years later, we have this. I have disassociated my child and my personal self from this series. And I try to look at it as a standalone. It's not bad as a standalone, but again, it doesn't like blow my mind. It's like, okay, it's a series. Not sure if it's worth $60 million an episode, but dude, last week I was on set with Carl Weathers. I watched that man operate it. I'm sure as shit going to watch that episode because of basically what he brought to that table last week. So
I'm just taking the Davion approach and just okay.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
What's important, folks? What did you think of the episode?
Yes, and again, no wrong answer. Whatever you like is okay. I personally have no problem if you like it, you hate it. Sorry, Ryan.
Are you on Team Scott or are you on Team Ryan? Which one is it going to be?
I didn't hate it. It just felt just like there.
Well, let us know in the comments what you thought. Are you looking forward to the next episode? Did you appreciate what the show brought to the table so far? Or are you in the same camp as Scott where it's mid? It's basic. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts are, your theories for the next coming episodes, for the series as a whole. And let us know if you'll be joining us next week, provided we are even going to do this next week. I don't know.
Figure something out, I suppose.
But this has certainly been an event. Again, thank you for Davion for coming in and watching the first episode and giving his thoughts and feelings towards it. Thank you to Scott for suffering through this.
It's okay.
And doing the best that you can. Thank you to myself for actually going ahead and watching something that's so highbrow that I was actually still able to get involved into it. Because, if I didn't have the choice to make the investment, I don't know if I would have watched this, considering I haven't watched Game of Thrones or The Witcher. So the fact that I'm choosing to go with this and I did enjoy it, maybe I would enjoy those as well. But this certainly felt like the bigger feat to take. So, but for that, Scott, if you want to sign us off.
Yeah, I'm good at this point. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the comments that came in. I appreciate it. By the way, just to let you guys know, if you haven't already seen it, 12 p.m. tomorrow on this channel, the first of 3 days straight, Fellowship of the Rings, Two Towers, and Return of the Kings, 10 facts in 2 minutes. So check it out on this channel. We will definitely be 100% back on Tuesday night for Tales from the Film Set. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern, talking about the experiences we've had in the film industry and all the great and sometimes dumb things that we've experienced in that time. Ryan, any final thoughts?
Only ones that would probably make hardcore fans angry. So I'm just gonna take the high road and shush.
Like I said, I disassociated from my nerd side of it, and I'm not gonna like overly anally nitpick this, but I'm seeing it. My buddy Rich refers to the Star Trek Paramount Plus stuff as fan fiction. This to me is Lord of the Rings fan fiction. And I think that's probably the best way for me to describe it.
Right, but since we don't have Roddenberry and Tolkien alive anymore, anything that comes after the fact will be fan fiction because there will be fans writing it.
And yet you have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau writing Star Wars. So, past the
reign. But they also worked on Boba Fett, didn't they?
Well, I think that was real. That definitely 100% was not Filoni on that, and I think Favreau was limited at best.
But, and then Obi-Wan, which is middling. You know, guy runs around with a girl the whole time. You know.
Yeah.
So every franchise has its quirks. So
indeed. So all right, I think we're good at this point.
Yes, I would say so.
So all right, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, D. Although you're clearly not here at this point. Thank you.
He's dead asleep at this point.
Comments. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And like I said, videos coming out. 10 facts in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 1 minute. Check them out. I've got a slew of those things on this channel at this point. Thanks.